Not. Hey, we figured it out. We're live. Wow. Sorry. Some tech issues. Just me being me. Hey guys, it's your boy. BC. That BBC with that BDE. Hey, it's Brian Campbell. Throw up the X. It's BCX time. All right. We're here. We did it. We made it just in time. Is there any greater joy for a middle-aged man like wearing this Boston Scally cap with this cup of coffee on the afternoon here for the working man, Stone Cold? That's what I'm talking about. All right. Deep breath. We're going to make it. We're going to get through it. Hey, it's time to ramble. All right. You know, I did experiment a little by trimming up this mustache, and it's certainly not working yet. Certainly not working. Okay. We'll see what happens with it. But, all right. Am I coming in clear? There we go. Welcome. It's April 2nd. It's a Wednesday. It's 2025. Your beige friend is here. All right. Is here. Yes, I do look like I'm an extra on, Daniel Kinahan henchman. Shout out to Pro Bellum right there, right? Maybe not. This is the BCX Ramble. This is where they let me speak into a microphone, sometimes for 3 hours, just talking in full circles, usually though, about combat sports, mental health, 70s vinyl, 90s NBA. Shout out to Mikey for always having my back. I don't think he's here. Right now, Lazy Bed. But shout out to the crew, okay? The Just Bleed Radio guys, Lazy Bed, Sandine, Danger Mouse, UK's finest, all the regulars. Thank you for joining. I'm sure we're going to get a little Brody Moret in our lives. 2-drink minimum, tip your waitresses, and smoke them if you got them. Rawr, rawr. How good's this 4 p.m. coffee today? Wow. Yeah. Whew. Busy day. I feel like we might have a load. Why? Yeah. Shout out Reggie, dude. Reggie is going to be in and out of here like 14 times. You already know that. Okay. If I don't know if my voice is going to take me 2 to 3 hours today. We'll see. I had a lot of meetings and interviews and stuff going on. Got Reggie hair all over me. Hey, hope you guys are doing well. This is all about me. Well, it kind of is, but it's about you too. Hey, it's about joy. Let's spread it like butter. All right. Let's do that thing right there. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope you realize that tomorrow is a new day. All right. You can get through anything. In fact, you're undefeated and getting through whatever life has dealt you up to this point. So, there we go. Hey, Dave Sandine already helping out the cause, saying, you son of a gun, I don't actually pay for ladies and participate in trains. It's just skits and bits. Yes, Sandine. Maybe I've overplayed that hand a few times, but one of our finest here. Thank you for paying to clear your name. I do appreciate that. There's nobody like Dave Sandine in your life. It is a great week to be alive. The weather's fluctuating here in the East Coast, like you care, but it was like, it's like 30 something today. What is it going to be tomorrow? 74. Anyway, spring has sprung. I'm fired up. I'm ready. I may have failed with the facial hair. I may have. You're going to have to judge for yourselves. Where's Nocita to put out a poll? You know what I'm saying? Today, though, we will have a great show talking about the big time rambling news that has happened overnight in the UFC. Talk about UFC's new Turkey film. That snuff film that's waiting to happen. We also, we got more. Wow, Sandine, thank you for your help here. MK needs a PO box, and also between you and the chat, we can teach you to fix your gutters. I might have to hire Saul because my gutters are hurting when it pours. That's coming through the gutter. It's a mess right now. Okay, and am I handy? No. All right. There's a few things I can do well in life. Just a few. Okay. Just a few. All right. Rambling is one of them. But thank you, Sandine. Let's clear that man's name. All right. It was just a joke. He did not accept the invitation to board the USS Osborne train. Okay. Did not happen. Jim Nance's kid is here. Yeah. Gutter guard. I'm thinking about it. All right. Getting that cover on the top there. I wonder if Saul, his brother Manuel, their pops can just make the journey up here and just do it for me. All right. Probably not, though. Probably not. We're going to talk about the UFC latest news. We're going to talk about some other things going on. The super chat will be available. You don't have to support the cause, but if you do, thank you very much. We'll definitely tackle the multiple variations of the pronunciation for Guadalajara. I mean, come on, LT, take an L already. By the way, LT this morning, was on CNN. Luke Thomas was on CNN today at like 6 a.m. talking about right-wing fans in the MMA and the UFC. Wild stuff there. Shout out to LT. He can do stuff like that. He can pull that kind of stuff off. They don't bring me on to talk politics though, but if they want to talk about, the changes to Deep Purple's lineup over the year from Mark 1 all the way up to Mark 4, I'm down for it. All right, I'm down for it. But there we go. There we go. Early question from Brody Moret. BC, do you remember a guy called Jordan Breen? Yes, from Sure Dog, a colorful, flamboyant character, if I recall. What happened to that dude? Pretty sure he's from my hometown of Toronto. To be honest, I haven't seen much of him lately, and I wasn't always following his work majorly, but I did respect his craft, what he brought to the game. He always had wild hair, wild opinions. So, yeah, there's room for all of us. I have 5 different drinks today. So hopefully we won't have to make any urinal breaks here. But, I got to keep this voice going for you today. Life updates. Let's hit it, right? MK, we'll be back Friday, 11 a.m. But you already knew that. A remote show. Please don't forget, next Wednesday, live, 11 a.m. Eastern from Meadowlark Studios in Manhattan. It will be. In fact, it will be UFC 314 pregame preview. Even though we no longer have Carlos Pratesh on that card, I don't even know if we need him as much as I love that guy, and we'll certainly get into where he will end up in the new main event of UFC Casey. And by Casey, I don't mean E. Leiden. You know what I'm saying? But that is where we're at with that. So check us out Friday. Check us out next Wednesday. Who will be the third man, NWO fans? Be a good one. It'll be a good one, okay? It will be a good one. I'll tell you what else is going to be good. This piece of business right here. I got it. Advanced copy. Mark Raymundi's Say Hello to the Bad Guys. How Professional Wrestling's New World Order Changed America. It just arrived a few minutes ago on the doorstep. Okay. Yes, Sandy, when we're talking about E.K.C. Leiden, unbeaten amateur fighter, and once told me, by the way, on Below the Links, that he'd be willing to bare knuckle fight Oscar Willis on BKFC. Wild. Raymundi sent me an advance copy. It's going to come out for good on June 24th. And I'm going to have him on the BCX to talk about it. I got to read this. I'm going to read this fat. I'm not a reader, but I'll read this cover to cover. Okay. I mean, check out me with the NWO right there back in 2016 at the Bridgeport Bluefish game. There we go. Yeah. Shout out to Mark Raymundi. He ain't heavy, he ain't tall, but he's my brother. Okay. Shout out to that guy, the Atlanta Falcons beat writer for, they would stuff him in a locker and throw him like a dart, like they did Rey Mysterio. But, I can't wait to see what that guy has crafted. All right. There we go. Yeah, I think he was the original 6, and then X-Pac showed up, and they're like, all right, there you go. All right, BCX update. Not much. So I kind of I kind of ran myself rampant last week. I took an unnecessary red eye coming home from the Fundora fight for PBC in Las Vegas, and it just destroyed me. Then I didn't take a day off. Then I wrote 3 big features for CBS, and I just hit that wall. So I'm trying to rebuild today, but I did jump on the BCX yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Rafe Bartholomew and I got inside that box. A few of you were there. So thank you so much for that. Check it out. Always a good time. 2 hours just to, let loose and listen to 2 grown men talk about weird things. Not too different from MK, but different, just the same. All right. Ham sandwich. Raymundi may be small, but he carries a big stick. Yeah, that man, I think he's married, that guy. Shout out to that guy. All right. Big fan of that guy. Seriously, when you get to meet, I don't want to say meet your heroes because Mark Raymundi's not my hero, but when you get to meet these guys in the business, the ones that turn out to be good dudes, man, you got to savor that flavor. That he's one of them, Sean Al-Shadi, Chuck Mindenhall. I mean, those are my guys, right? Mike Boner, right? Yeah, there we go. All right, Mr. Tiddlywinks, you may be saying, who's that? There he is. He's here too. Okay. I heard that about Raymundi, that he's got the flavor for the old BBL, but no one's ever coming out and trying to make Eastern European women or Irish women, have that same calling card as the BBL. Maybe I'll be on that. Maybe I'll do that for you. All right. Yeah, voice is struggling today. I definitely could use a little addies and baddies. Maybe he see Basti hit cleanup there for the travel team. What's going to happen? Bapa going to Texas, right? It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. So I think I'm going to have a piece of content tomorrow on this channel. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I haven't called up any of my friends in the industry a while and just riffed, just riffed. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. This guy's like, enough rambling, Campbell. We need you to ramble. Oh, okay. Okay, great. We're on that. We're on that. There it is. I feel like I had something else to tell you important. Probably not, though. Probably not. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being you, which is, weird, but look at us. We're all in the same team here, the weird team. So let's get after it. The topics today. Let's start it. Big news, right? The UFC on April Fool's Day seemed to tease that some big news was coming, and then 8 hours later there was nothing there, and you're like, oh, is that the April Fool's Day joke that you got? Luckily, it wasn't Jones Aspinall per se, but it's still something. By the way, did you see Turki Al-Sheikh's April Fool's joke on the Ring Mag account or on his own account? Yeah, that was kind of lame, but comedy ain't for everybody. There's only like 250 of us out there, right? Yeah, right? Me and Callan and yeah, not really. What is Drac enters? Donks are here for your mental illness, BC. Ramble away. Thank you. I'm really trying to clean up that mental illness, but thank you so much. Two Chang's in the house. BC coming for Cory Booker's 25. Yeah, what the hell was that about? I'm really trying to stay away from politics. I got sucked in post-election. I'm trying to stay away. I haven't downloaded the New York Times app. I'm trying to get cultured here. We'll see what happens. All right. Lazy Bed's here. Now we can finally start this show. The first bit of news we're going to get into. Ian Garry's Huevos, fellas, okay? This man, as Cheech and Chong would say, what balls he has. I know people want to villainize me on MK when we made that list of, that pound for pound list of welterweights, even though people said, hey, if you're just doing welterweights, how could it be pound for pound? It's just a welterweight list where we ranked who we think right now are the 5 best in order. And, BC controversially dropping in Ian Machado Garry at number 2. Did I? I think I did that. The whole point is Ian Garry, I think, is better than you guys realize. Okay, that's what I think. And it's not flashy spinny kick knockouts, but he has that ability that he showed against Shavkat, even if it was a 75% Shavkat, to mute what you do best. He's big for the weight class. He's smart. He doesn't get hit a ton. There's a lot to like there. You know what else there's a lot to like? Him going from short notice against that killer Shavkat and scoring in defeat the biggest victory of his career and a moral victory. A career that raised his critical standing and really got people off. I hope not. Really just got people off of their soapbox about, man, this cuck let his wife's ex-husband live and train them. Apparently that wasn't true. And instead we're talking about this guy's ceiling. Well, what did he do now? Jamal Hill gets injured. He's out of the Roundtree fight in the main event for UFC Kansas City that's coming up. And instead, they're going to move Hill Roundtree to UFC Azerbaijan, which is a wild location to drop in on. But hey, let's do it. Let's get global. And then they called him up. And as Lazy Bed would say, we found out this guy has brass balls the size of grapefruits. This big. Because he said, let me go back in the rankings and take on this cigarette smoking killer named Carlos Pratesh, who is just blasting fools out of there, knocking people the F out. And then going on Ariel and being like, yeah, I pretty much smoke 10 to 15 cigarettes a day, as if he's like 1998 Vlade Divac over here. You got to just love and respect. Like Ricardo Mayorga has come back alive. Okay. First and only time you can root for Garry. I get the look, especially you, Danger Mouse, because you're out there in the UK. I get the hesitancy. This guy had cuck written all over him, or he had future bust McGregor clone written all over him. But the thing is, he's really solid. He really wants it. And I'm starting to believe, as Sandine would say, that he's the real deal Holyfield. I'm starting to believe that. Of course, we're going to find out against Carlos Pratesh, but he's doing it on short notice. And he's saying, look, I'm not going to just live off of this loss like Sean O'Malley is when he got this title shot off of a loss. I'm not going to live off of this loss. I'm going to go in there and test myself against a on fire, red hot killer. I cannot wait for this fight. because we got to find out. We got to find out what's really under the hood there of Ian Machado Garry. I mean, is the Machado part of him respectful? It's even more fun to make fun of Ian Garry, even though he's a stud. It's been skits and bits of it. It has, like, but should we respect him for like going after the attractive older woman and marrying her? He's married. That's an old 16 Candles joke. And it's probably a poor joke in the modern day time of not just jumping on Asians and long duck dongs. I'm sorry for that one. Okay. But he's married. Okay. And, however formula he got there, this kid's confident. This kid wants it. And I'm really gonna, I mean, a lot of you are saying things right now. Tiddlywinks, Dave, I root for Protest, but respect Garry for his Chad move. Yeah, me too. Me frickin' too, Tiddles. All right. I would like him to stop being a McGregor clone. I would like him to figure out who IMG really is. All right. And this is, I guess he is. You know who IMG is? He'll take short notice fights against killers. So this is my lead story because I really felt like a fighter has never hit rock bottom in the court of public MMA Twitter opinion like he had recently. When all that cuck stuff went down, it was just sort of like, damn, dude, get a PR rep. But yet look at when he opens the shirt up. Is there a giant S there? I don't know yet. But when he opens the shirt up, we're finding out that there's giant huevos right there. And I know those are hard to come by in the States right now. I don't want to get political with you about the price of eggs. Okay. Brody, cigarettes are making a comeback. Light went up, gang. They are kind of making a comeback, aren't they? I think cocaine is too. Not in my nostrils, I'll tell you that much. All right. And 9:15 a.m. is a smart man. Garry didn't come to sit and watch. He came to take part. I mean, he came. All right. He's still here. He's still coming. Could Protest win? Yes. I don't even know what the early odds are on this, but I love it. I love it. So that's what's going on. All right. Lazy bed. Protest is that version of the giant that smokes cigarettes on his way to the ring. The coolest. Yeah. He should, you know what? I don't know if they'd let him, but he should just light one up on the way to the cage. That'd be like when Mayorga used to do that after the win, like after he upset Vernon Forrest for the welterweight championship in 2003 in Temecula. Yeah, he met him there in the third round when he lured. Look, when Vernon Forrest beat prime undefeated Shane Mosley not once but twice in consecutive fights, and in that first fight kind of put it on him. I mean, no one's knocking out Shane Mosley back then, but he dropped him and he put it on him. He had a case for number one pound for pound. I know Roy Jones was still alive. I know there were other fighters on top, but Shane had just moved up 2 weight divisions and outdueled Oscar in one of my 5 favorite fights of all time. The year was 2000. It was in the Staples Center. Don't call it crypto, because it ain't. All right. And when he comes off of that against this whirling dervish who lured him into a brawl and got him out of his sensibilities, and he lost his sense. And then he lit up and got the beer bottle, and Larry Merchant was loving it, as were we all at home. I think we need characters like this. So I'm down with this, okay? Sandine says, I do like Protest, but Jean Jacket Silva, Gian Jacket Silva is my morning Jacket Silva is fantastic. By the way, the new MMJ album called I'm coming around. I'm on like listen 6 right now. I'm coming around again. Okay. I'm here. It ain't Z or It Still Moves or maybe even Circuital, but it's better than the self-titled one they put out, even though I like that one. I got to see these songs live. Okay. That's a talk for another day. All right. Dude, Portuguese Herzog. Like, A, who is this guy? But B, he nailed it. Ian Machado. Oh, Garry. Yes. Thank you. All right. Damn. By the way, Aaron Braunstetter texted me and he's like, I want to come on a ramble with you and only do music. Are you guys down with that? Would you guys be down with a BC and Braun 2 to 3 hour music ramble? Or is that too nerdy for you? We're going to find out. All right. We're going to find out. Garry has chesticles. It runs in his family. It really does. It's fantastic. Yes. Indeed. All right. We're going to get to your super chat. Yeah, don't even read that. We're going to get to that. Okay. We're going to get to it. All right. Cigarettes are back. Should we bring crack back? No, we shouldn't. Crack back, no take backs. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I'm trying to catch up with this chat here. Brody Moret, Vernon Forrest shouldn't have gone to war. Yeah, you're damn right he shouldn't have. He got lured in. He also shouldn't have chased those guys who, yeah, well, come on. I mean, please, RIP to him. By the way, the craziest part, I could actually understand. I mean, he had so much to lose. He was the welterweight king. He was arguably the pound for pound best, and he let this wild man from Nicaragua lure him in. But the fact that they instantly rematched and the fact that Mayorga won by decision and kind of outboxed him still is wild to me. I don't understand how that happened. Wild. Okay. Dang. All right. Nabbit. Muskie. Dang. Okay. There we go. All right. That's the first topic. Second topic, UFC 316 is formalized. It's announced. It's going down in Newark, the home, by the way, of Newark Penn train station and every disease possible. Also the former home of Shakur Stevenson. Let me look up when this date is. Is it June 7th? I feel like it's June 7th. Let's see how this card. So we already knew these fights were coming. It's not necessarily new, but it's official from old Dana. And it is going to go down June 7th, the Prudential Center at, the Rock there in Newark. The only bouts we know outside of the 2 title fights that were confirmed are Marlon Vera versus Mario Bautista. Love it. Bruno Gustavo da Silva versus Joshua Van at flyweight. Yeah. Sergey Spivak versus Shamal Gazia. And Johnny Walker against Azamat Mirzakhanov. Yeah, I'll be down for that. I'm down for that. Okay. Let's talk about the two fights right there. All right. See, every time I see we had no Mikey today, so every time I see a good question come in, I'm like, damn, I got to star it. I got to favor it. Real quick, let's two Changs. Vernon was gun shy in the rematch the moment Mayorga teed off on him and took it yeah, you're right. Man, two Changs knows some box. Two Changs, when are you going to join me on this show? I know you have a job and all, but sometimes we like to show the face of these people here. Maybe when you're done loan sharking. Okay, there we go. Number 2 is UFC 316. So here's the deal. I don't love these 2 fights, but at least there's some star power there. And I know your knee jerk is to say, Marab's a star? Was he going to lay on him? But no, at least we're getting 2 stars, O'Malley and Merab in a rematch that is somewhat unnecessary, and then the intrigue of, can Kayla Harrison make 135 one more time? And can she make not 135 great again? Can she make it watchable and palatable again? Maybe. Yeah, but maybe we'll get Dave Sandine on here to talk about, negotiating on a street corner. No, sorry, that's too far. All right. Too far. I mean, there's also Juliana Pena in this. Is she the least reputable 2-time champion in UFC history? And it's not like I want to just drop doogies on her like it's an episode of Oz. It's more like, all right, two Changs. Next week, we'll see you Wednesday, 4 p.m. Be there. Okay, there we go. There it is. Whoop, there it is. I got to get Christian DeGuerro on here too, because he's putting MK right on the bag, baby. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that fella. He looks like a young savage. Will he let me corner him? That's the question. I'll be your Coach Latore, baby. Okay, you know what I'm saying? No, all right. Even Carla Esparza, which is like one of the most unlikely 2-time champions in UFC history. At least she's got 2 wins over Rose in a long run of beating quality names and a legitimate late career resurgence. Granted, the Rose rematch was awful, but that's on Rose and Pat. That ain't on her. And it's not like I want to not like Juliana Pena. It's not like I want to sit here and say the one great victory that she has against Amanda Nunes, which, rewind MK, when I watched, when we reacted to it, it was the triumph of the human spirit. But we also grew to learn that Amanda was hurt, undertrained, and really just felt the pressure of not pulling out again of an advertised pay-per-view big fight. And what happened in the rematch? Juliana got her ass kicked for 5 rounds. Yes, she showed toughness, but that was, full-on domination at UFC 277. In fact, the scores were 50-45, 50-44, and 50-40 damn 3, okay? And it's like, who'd she beat in her career? Washed Katzengano in 2016, Nico Montano in 2019, rallied to submit 41-year-old Sarah McMahon, took the title in a split decision against Rocky Pennington in the worst era of this division's history and one of the worst title fights. And that's it, guys. That's all she's ever won against. She has like 17 pro fights. She's fought like 4 times since the pandemic. Like, what are we doing here, right? We need Kayla Harrison to come in here and take that belt. I just hope, like, you know, I mean, it's a fair point, Gator. Why are we talking about this? Because it was in the news. All right. So let's get back on it. All right. All right. I want to see Kayla go for this crown. So there's some intrigue in there. I know O'Malley's saying, I know, wow, Gator, this guy Gator is a real MFer. This guy Gator MF, right? There it is. I know O'Malley's saying, look, I'm going to be 70% better because my groin is healed. But that fight kind of sucked as the Sphere main event. Now, I liked watching Merab climb that mountain. I love that moment for him. I loved his performance for the most part. Could the rematch be better? Yes. The only thing I guess I really like about this is that Sean is double downing on his star here, meaning if he goes out there and repairs this and defeats Merab and gets back the title, then this big problem we have with the UFC's star problem gets an injection. It really does. And it's not as if, you know, one loss is going to kill you in the UFC, but if he loses consecutively to this pound for pound ranked Merab, he's going to take a legitimate step back. So I would have liked, of course, for him to have, meaning O'Malley, to have actually fought somebody between now and then. But I do understand if we're going to sit here and complain about lack of stars, and then UFC is going to go out of their way to insert stars into big fights, like the argument I was making Monday on MK that not everybody loved about Brandon Moreno maybe kind of deserving another title shot, even though Kopp is there, but he did poke that guy right in the soul to get that win. It happened. He poked him 3 times before the finish. So in this case, I don't hate it. I just kind of feel like I would have liked Petr Yan to get the chance. I know everyone's going to say, BC, what are you talking about? Petr Yan did nothing against Merab when he did fight him. I know, but that was, if we're allowed to say that stretch of Robert Whittaker through the first fight against Izzy when he got knocked cold, that he wasn't right during that stretch. Remember the injuries? Remember he had to pull out of the Gastelum fight? Remember that stretch? Then we should be allowed to say that, you know, that stretch of Yan was a little overworked, fighting too many killers in a row. Yan seems resurgent right now. I know there's not as much star power in that matchup, but I kind of would have liked to see Yan in this case. I mean, when you look at the rankings, I know you're going to go, who else could it have been? I know you can say that. And we do have Corey Sandhagen coming up pretty soon in a big fight. And Figueiredo just lost. And Song Yudong's not ready for a title shot. And neither is Cheeto at 7 or Rob Font at 8 or Cejudo can't even see out of his eye. Okay, we got an issue. I guess it's got to be O'Malley. Sorry, we figured it out. All right, there we go. That's topic number 2. Not a great pay-per-view, but again, at least there's stars there. Kind of. Do we even have stars in the UFC anymore? All right, enough of that discussion. Next one. I don't have to belabor this. I don't have to spend 9 months trying to find a head on this. But Turki announced that the acclaimed Zack Snyder, right? Who the hell is Zack Snyder, we're saying, or some of us. Me. I know he's done a lot of huge movies. Let's find out. American filmmaker Zack Snyder, 59 years old. He of course is known for the likes of Superman, Watchmen, Dawn of the Dead, Justice League, Legend of the Guardians, Army of the Dead, Sucker Punch. He's going to do a movie about the UFC with Turki's money and Dana's influence and acceptance. And the pitch seems really like MMA's version of Rocky, which, really Rocky was so good and pure and inspirational that it spawned The Karate Kid, which was the same director, John Avildsen, and many, many, many different versions of the Rocky story all over again. So could MMA have its own? Maybe, sure, fine, I guess. I know that what I want to say, and then everybody will be like, all right, enough BC, which is like, can we just take that money and give it to the fighters? But that's not going to happen. How about this? Could we just take that money, whatever unnecessary money we're going to put onto this project, for this big giant UFC commercial about a down on us luck man in LA who blah, 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 blah. And maybe just pay for Jones Aspinall so we can announce it already? Like, please, please. So that's what I'm feeling to this. Okay. I'm sure Brody Moret's feeling something weird. Let's see what he says. BC, I'm pretty sure all of these people are just taking Turki's money while laughing behind his back. I don't think Dana cares if he takes over boxing or not. Look, that's becoming the new opinion of like, well, maybe TKO is taking Turkey for a ride, and maybe they're inevitably going to sell the UFC back to Saudi anyway, and probably all of TKO. I mean, I heard a great podcast today on the MMA draw between Kid Nate and the fantastic fight opinion, right? We're talking about Zach. I think that, you know, they were leading to if the TKO and Ari Emanuel just continues to pull all of the cents and dollars and grinds this thing down, what is the end game? Well, maybe that end game is selling it off to them. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right on this idea that everyone's just sort of like happy to get their check and no one really cares anyway. And that could be the same. Maybe Dana and Nick Khan and all of them were like, if we're ever going to do it, it is right now because we don't have, you know, meaning TKO boxing, because we don't have to take the financial risk. They're not taking any financial risk. Turkey's paying for it all. So there could be a part of them that goes, we probably won't pull this off, but we'll take his money. We'll take the opportunity and we'll do it. Whatever with this movie. I just feel like, why are they not calling up Turkey? Forget setting a precedent. John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. You should set a precedent by paying him Deontay Wilder money. Please. We don't need this stupid movie. We need how about instead you take that money for that movie and do a When We Were Kings style documentary about the build to Jones Aspinall. In fact, tell us this is the biggest heavyweight fight of all time, even if it's not. Do that in this regard, okay? That's topic number 3. Topic number 4, briefly. I did see the Lance Pugmire boxing scene story, which further pushed the story along that Top Rank and PBC are going to work together and have plans on it. Apparently, Pugmire was at a Las Vegas luncheon yesterday that involved people like Carl Moretti from Top Rank, Tom Brown from TGB Promotions, which is one of the house promoters for the PBC, Louis DeCubosh Jr., the powerful advisor, manager, matchmaker, you know, all those guys behind the scenes at PBC. And they did talk about, they didn't talk Turkey. They did talk about the, Gator, finally, UMF, finally I'm cooking. Now I'm cooking with gas, okay? About that idea. And now they're suddenly talking about the same fights that Luke and I were, you know, ranking on what are the best fights PBC. And now they're talking about the possibility of Tank versus Loma, or Keyshawn Davis versus Tank Davis, and Fundora Zayez, and all of these great collaborations. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on. Reggie's here. I got to close the door. Okay. Let me give you something to talk about while I'm doing that. Okay. Just don't ask what is on the USB stick, please.
A message to Brian Campbell. Do not ask me what is on the USB stick.
All right. We made it. We made it. We made it. He's here, guys. Sir Reginald is here. It's a controversial figure in this house, but there we go. There we go. I mean, yeah, Ham Sammy, maybe they do listen to it. Oh, we need a cat door. Yeah, we do. Dude, great call, Sandy. We do. Zoe's showing up lately. Zoe's trying to reclaim this office from Reggie. It's a wild, you know. Maybe they do listen to MK. But an interesting thing that came out of that story, and Tu Chang's right on board with this WBO mandatory. Fundora Zayas will be a low to mid key banger, medium well banger. I just, okay, enough of that piece. Daily Dallas too. Y'all hate John Jones so much, but y'all still talking, always trying to take a black man down. America KKK. That's really not the situation. I'd really like to see that gentleman get paid, or just piss or get off the pot and figure out whether you're going to take this fight or not. Okay, let's go. But regarding Top Rank and PBC, it was interesting that in Pugmire's story, that as he's outlining the reasons why these two might work together, with quotes from Aram talking about, I don't want to send my fighters anymore to Saudi. Those fights aren't getting the coverage or exposure that they need, or the people in the arena. And then boxing scene doubled down on its reporting that the last Crescendo card, that super pay-per-view card with Bival Benavides 2, selling only 40,000 pay-per-view buys and comparing that to Tank Roach, which reportedly did what, like 240,000. And now what'd you see today? The Ring Magazine account saying, according to sources, the last Crescendo actually did 340,000. It's like, okay, I'm going to need some proof on that, Turk. All right. Somebody get Cop up in the bullpen. All right. Shout out to Cop getting that job though, but whatever on that. This is Reggie. He likes me. That's really about it. And terrorizing people. So I'm overjoyed at this, rightfully so. Okay, let's protect American boxing. This isn't like, I saw Dan Rayfield put out a story saying, let's not crap on TKO and Dana. Let's give him a chance. I understand that. I just think that, I know enough about how sausage really gets made here that do I want, it's not like they're coming in TKO to be part of it. They're coming in to take all. They're coming in to push everybody out. So I really just, I really just don't feel that way. Hey, Dirty Dolly Dallas is saying, not you, BC, just the chat. Yeah, the chat is full of misogyny and racism and disrespect. No, that's the Morning Combat chat. This chat is just full of middle-aged men just talking, and I like that. Okay, I mean, there's conversations going on in my mouth and my head, and also in the chat. Val Venus had a great thing. I mean, he really did. Okay, so look, the best things can happen in boxing or combat sports or pro wrestling promotion when, yes, there's competition, but when there's an urgent need for survival, and that's kind of where we're at too. So, part of it is going to go, well, don't Heyman and Arum not like each other? Well, look, Arum and Don King always hated each other, yet when the big fights mattered, they came together and would make a De La Hoya Trinidad or same thing with Al and Bob when they made Mayweather Pacquiao and Fury Wilder 2 and 3. But also there's other people these days. I mean, maybe Alan, still making the final decisions and to some degree, Bob, I'm not sure. I mean, Todd's kind of running the show is what you hear. So maybe that's softening over time. They do kind of need each other. I think everybody who's not TKO and Turkey needs each other. Reggie needs me. All right. Really, he's just like, I need you to stop podcasting so I could bite your chin and try to pull down these ceiling panels. Early shout out here from the one and only International Man of Mystery, Alan W, for the Reggie's Catnip Fund. Reggie appreciates that. Thank you. And so do I, Al. Okay. There we go. There it is. All right. Let's refill let's see where we're at with this. There we go. We got any Luke. Oh no Luke Nocita today. He's got a job in LA. He's out working. He's out working with Gaff. There he goes. All right. I'm going to open the floodgates now. The floor is going to be yours. Okay. Do with it what you will. Ask me what you feel. The super chat is super open. And thank you for support on this show. But you don't have to pay to play. Let's just have a good time and be nice to each other. And not try to heckle me too much for trying like the thin beard, like goatee thing. It just, anything to take a few years off the BC odometer. You know what I mean? I mean, hair dye only goes so far. Okay, there we go. There we go. Ham Sandwich, Eddie Guerrero coming out with the lowrider. So always a great entrance in WWE. All my friends know the lowrider. In fact, always. All right. All right. Ham Sandwich back at it with Tunero. Is Tank Davis a Hall of Famer? Not yet. No, not yet. You can still pick at his resume a bit. I don't ultimately think he's going to fight 2 more times and retire. I think he'll be fine. Maybe he could benefit from a year off. I mean, that happens in a lot of careers where it can ultimately do that. I hope he doesn't for PBC's sake. He'll end up a Hall of Famer, though. I mean, I think Bud Crawford saying Spence is not a Hall of Famer is just absolutely ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So what if he's been in one division? You know who's been in one division? Triple G in Bernard Hopkins, 2 Hall of Famers, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I'm not trying to say that Spence has accumulated the same longevity and victories that they have exactly, but Errol Spence is 28-1 with 22 KOs. He's a former unified 3-belt welterweight champion. And let me tell you who this man has beaten. Okay. He went across first of all, I beat Chris Algieri back when that still mattered. He went across the pond to stop a one-eyed Kelbrook, but not a zero-eyed like Bud Crawford did. Sent Lamont Peterson into retirement. Blanked Mikey Garcia in a pay-per-view fight. Outlasted Sean Porter in maybe his the win where he had to dig the deepest, even though that was an unfocused Spence who was drinking too much and not listening to his corner. Comes back after a horrific accident a year and a half later that should have killed him and breaks the face of your Dennis Ugas to unify titles. Has in between a Danny Garcia, shellacking in there. Come on, enough of that debate. Okay. I hope Spence can put it together. I hope there's some form of new life for him. Get in the ring already is what I'm kind of trying to say, but hopefully he's healthy and if he wants to do it, do it. But I don't know how you can look at that and not see a Hall of Fame there. Maybe that's just me. I don't think it's just me. All right. Lazy Boy, what do you got for me? BC, I've been deep diving the new WCW YouTube channel's badass. What was your favorite WCW gimmick match? It definitely wasn't the Judy Bagwell Viagra on a pole match. I would say that it was okay, first and foremost, it was War Games. And even though there's a part of Triple H that's trying to honor WCW, where he also came up as terrorizing with the idea of bringing it back, but they're doing two open cages. It's not the same. It's just not the same. My whole thing is, if you're going to bring it back, honor it the right way, please. Don't call NXT cards, the old WCW names, unless you're going to kind of really honor that. The War Games matches were so gritty and grime, and syndicated Jim Crockett Promotions TV Saturday mornings in the late 80s. They did one of the things that I hate, which is they'd tease that, we're going to show you like the equivalent of a pay-per-view match. And they'd show like the walkout and everybody getting in the ring and you'd be so excited, but you're looking at the TV like, wait, doesn't the show end in 3 minutes? What's going to happen? And then they go, take machines are rolling. We're out of time, Shivani. And then they're out of there. And it was such a, oh God. Yeah. Hold on. I got poster problems here. All right. Hold on. All right. Can you hold on, please? Can you?
Jim, I gotta tell you something. Are these guys Russian or are they just in a hurry?
Jim! I mean, what's going on here, right? What is even happening here, Thurman? What is happening here?
Heard Keith Thurman was going to be here. Sounded boring. Found the man. Still sounded boring.
I got so many disrespectful things to say about Jeff Horn, all right? There we go. Hold on. All right, we're back. This show's off the rails. What a debacle, all right? The War Games Lazy Bed was just, I mean, you would see, the horsemen get comeuppance and they'd be wearing jeans and boots and everyone's blading. I mean, it was awesome. Did it get bastardized? Yes, it did. They also tried something that never worked, but that Tower of Doom cage when you're a kid was just gnarly to imagine what it would look like. So those are the gimmicks that stand out to me, that really do. I really almost wish that instead of AEW having become a thing, that Billy Corgan's NWA would have somehow aligned with all the people that ended up making AEW, and they would have like really committed to the gimmick of presenting territory style 80s wrestling, not playing up over the top characters or masks, just giving you guys with first and last names that are going to go in there. They're going to wrestle stiff. They're probably going to blade. There we go. Okay. Yeah. A Lazy Bed knows it is. Okay. It is War Games. That's how we do it. All right. UFC Apex is like, yo, can we just stop this? This has been an off the rails chat already. All right. Two Chains, what do you got for me? Bud was being petty. Errol is the best name on his. Yeah, that's the part. You're downgrading your own resume. And it's not like Bud hasn't fought anybody. He is a 3-division champion. He is undisputed in 2 divisions. But yo, by the way, part of your undisputed run at 140, wow, that was a heck of a leap, Reg, was during a time when nobody was there. You beat washed Rick Sturko, Ricky Burns, and you beat Julius Ndongo to take 2 belts. The guy's got 10 losses. So he was on the other side of the street during that great welterweight run, was lucky to get a last fight of his career, Sean Porter, across the street, beating aftermarket Amir Khan, beating aftermarket Kell Brook, getting dropped by Mean Machine. So when you have this one great, awesome, amazing win against unbeaten Spence in one of the biggest fights of your eras, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, he's not a Hall of Famer, then what are you, Bud? So stop that. Okay. But the thing I respect about Bud is he's a gangster, meaning like he's got a real backbone in and out of the ring. He stands on his business. And I like that he's not afraid to say things that are against the mainstream, but I think this was a miss. He doesn't take too many L's in real life, but that was an L. All right. Muhammad, wow. Okay. I have no idea what adults get out of pro wrestling. To be honest, I've never met an adult in the UK who is openly into it. I mean, I kind of feel like, and it's not in every case, this is not the same, but if you didn't grow up with it at a certain age when you weren't sure if it was real or not, and like, like I always say, I mean, watching Jim Crockett Productions as a kid when the Four Horsemen would break Dusty's leg in the car door in the parking lot, like that's gnarly man stuff. That plants a seed that sometimes can get rewatered over time. But can a man, unless he has young kids and he's doing it through the fatherhood way, can a man just stumble into it at 35 and suddenly, I mean, he could, but yeah, it'd be harder. I get it. All right. Enough of that. Thanks. I hated Brody Murray. I hated how Vince buried the WC. Yeah, I hated that too. WCW talent when they came over. DDP should have had a title run, not as I mean, Vince always did that to the competition. He'd welcome them over, he'd pay them, and then he'd absolutely bury them. There we go. All right. Hooah. Sorry, Reg. That poster fell apart again. Reggie's knocking things over. I'm a little yeah, there we go. It's a weak joke and BC loves. I mean, sometimes I do. I mean, I'm not watching much today, although I'm trying to get back into the Cena heel turn and get fired up for the build to Mania a little bit. But I didn't even watch Mania last year. I've been rightfully out for a while. There we go. All right. I've been trying to save some questions. Here we go. Thank you, MMA Fanatic. Thank you, MMA Fanatic, for supporting this chat. BC, what the heck is keeping Errol from the ring? Spence, lingering injury, confidence issues. What are you hearing? I think that they tried to make that. The only reason why Fundora sat out for almost a year was they tried to make that fight for a while. I think they first hit the pushback of Spence kind of not being ready, and they kept missing the window. And then when Spence looked like he was ready, all of the Alphabet commissions wouldn't sanction it as a title fight. So they're like, well, maybe Fundora will vacate one belt and then fight Spence. And then suddenly Spence is like, yo, I'm not ready after all. I think a big part of it, the inside rumor, was that he hadn't found a new trainer. Right. He got sued by Derek James for the payment from the Crawford fight, the disagreement over that. And I don't know if it's confidence issues. Part of it, when Spence would come out on Twitter, he would kind of stand on business like, I'll be ready when I'm ready. And that's fine. And, after I lost that badly, and when you think about how much that original accident, even though it was self-inflicted, did to, even though he came back and it looked like nothing had changed, obviously that had to affect him. Then he got in an additional accident. So if it really just comes down to just rest your mind, rest your body. I mean, look, Jessica I just rested her mind and body and decided she wanted to go to BKFC. And I hope she gets paid, even though I sometimes you just want people that retired and got out to stay out. But sometimes that'll just refresh you in the right ways. I still think we'll see him back in a big fight. I think I wouldn't even, will he be good? We don't know yet. But I think the main reason was didn't find a trainer. The timing didn't align. And maybe when they were ready, he wasn't, whatever. There we go. Okay. There it is. All right, Reg. See, somebody pulled in the driveway, Reg, just like, I got to check it out. All right. Jacob Alamo. They didn't just announce it. It was reported by sourcing that the May 31st PBC card in Las Vegas at the Mandalay, that is expected to be a non-pay-per-view and be on Prime Video. There is this working rumor that Plant will be in the main event, Jermall Charlo will be in the co-main, and that this would be the build to them finally fighting and, of course, consummating the huge beef between them that took place on the weigh-in day of Spence versus Crawford back in the summer of 23. When Charlo, who, look, he'd been out of the ring for a few years, went through a really bad divorce, went through some mental health and substance issues, I believe. And then he came over and messed with Plant, grabbed his beard and pulled it. And Plant being the man that we respect him to be, slapped and punched him. And people want to see that payoff. I get that. Now, the names that have been flown out there as sourcing in terms of who the opponents can be, I also understand that they're not super huge or super tough. I think it was Jose Resendiz, who'd largely fought at 54 and 60, would be moving up to 68 to fight Plant. Rumors that Cornflake LaManna could be Charlo's opponent. I kind of want to wait and see in this regard. If it is those opponents, then you know what the show is. It's not a pay-per-view, and it would be in a lot of ways, a setup for the future, get them back and be, I mean, do you love the matchmaking in that case? Not maybe necessarily, but Plant is great entertainment, and I think we do need to see or give Charlo a chance to come back in a softer touch and see what he's got, because he's still relatively young, but he's been out for so long, and yet he's still unbeaten, 2 division champion in his past. So we'll see what goes on with that one. There we go. Let me let Reggie out. Sorry. I mean, we're just off the rails already. It's just unbelievable. Reg, you're just killing me here. You're really killing me. You know, the kids come home from school. From practice. Reggie's got to figure it out. All right, there we go. Nobody cares. There it is. Danger Mouse, what do you got over there in the UK? My childhood favorite wrestlers were Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy, and Rollerball Rocco. Good stuff there. All right. Those some UK heroes right there with your girl Soraya or what? All right. There it is. Alan W helping the cause. Spence is not likely sober. Oh, that's a leap there, Al. I hope not. I hope he is. I hope he's sober. I hope he's training. I hope he's, mentally and physically sound in that regard. But I don't know about that, Al. You know what I mean? But you can have your opinion. You can have that. You can have that shit. All right. Lazy Bed, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda added to the UFC KC event. I really felt like there was some pressure on the UFC to give not only a good replacement, a great replacement for Jamal Hill pulling out, because don't forget, this card was the first weekend that they're actively pushing the TKO takeover that they're calling it. They sent out emails to the media, to the fans, offering you tickets, not just to the UFC event, but the bundle of the full TKO takeover experience of WWE, PBR. Somebody's probably going to get slapped in there too. We'll find out. All right. So look, they upgraded that, because as much as Hill versus Roundtree is sort of a necessary fight between a former champion and a former title challenger, both on the come down, looking to sort of figure out an almost a crossroads battle. This fight's even better. Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. All right. Portuguese Herzog, thank Reginald for making me get a cat. Yeah, really? Okay. I mean, Reggie's a handful, but he's still at the end of the day the best, because he's a thug all day, but at night, you know what I'm saying? That's my man right there. All right, that's my guy. Okay, he can be soft, he can be sweet, right? All right. Hey, Saul, live and direct from the gutter. This is my guy right here. Louisville, Saul A. How do you feel about the Sugar Marab rematch? Yeah, so I kind of hit that earlier, and I don't think people want me to hit it again, but it's mid. But if you look at the rankings, unless you're going Petr Yan, who again, as I said earlier, had the worse appearance against Marab than even O'Malley did, then it's not going to sell as well, and people might probably complain the same way. I think at least with O'Malley, we're recognizing that he was injured. We know he's got the biggest star potential of almost anyone right now in this era where we're struggling to make stars. So it is what it is at the end of the day. It's definitely mid, but at least there's some star power on there. At least we're expecting him to be better than the first one. And the first one was close, even though I think Marab won cleanly. It was competitive for a bit, kind of. All right, it's not great, but compared to what we're getting lately, it's not DDP Strickland 2, right? Well, yeah, I guess it kind of is too. Damn it. All right. Yeah. Oh, now Danger Mouse is like, those weren't my favorite wrestlers. Don't be slandering me. All right. See, Danger Mouse and I, some we're good. Now we're not good again. I don't know. Stephen T, I agree. So I hope Sandhagen stops Figgy and makes a case for a title shot. Yeah, I kind of wish Sandhagen was coming off of a win right now, so you could just plug him in. But timing is everything. He's got to go in there against Figgy, who's also coming off of that defeat. We'll see what happens right there. Thank you. Debbie does Dolly Dallas too. BC spitting facts like Outcast. You my dog. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah. Right. Damn it. All right. Should be Marab Pantoja. I get it. It's a creative idea. Sugar versus Corey, which would be a great fight. Petr versus Umar. I mean, them rushing in Umar at that time. I mean, so I had heard that it was going to be O'Malley the first in the immediate rematch, but he wasn't ready physically. So then they went to Umar. It is what it is. I mean, you can't script it. So Marab got the win, and shout out to him. Now we're going to see this one a second time. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. I favorited a few of these. Sandine, Bret Hart was on Helwani yesterday. That was fun wrestling stuff. I didn't watch because, I'm a Bret Hart hater. Oh, I mean, I obviously respect the craft and respect him as one of the best, but I get why a generation calls him the greatest of all time. It's not lost on me how many great matches he's had. That his match with Austin, that's now going to go in the WWE Hall of Fame, to a lot of people is their favorite of all time. It's one of the best of all time. I prefer, in some weird ways, the Bret Hart Roddy Piper match, or I mean the Bret Owen one that kicked off WrestleMania 10. I mean, there's a few there, but you're either a Bret or a Shawn guy, and I'm a Shawn guy, and I don't think Bret ends up on top at that time unless Hogan's going through that steroid trial. So, and I think that anyone that's trying to say he sold while he was on top, no, he was on top during the worst stretch in WWE's modern history. And it's why they had to go to London for SummerSlam, because they weren't selling in the States. But also, I always forget to add this in. Part of me keeping a certain level of disrespect for Bret is just because I came of age as a wrestling fan during the bloated steroids 80s era where Vince is just pushing out one monster after another. So the idea of seeing a smaller technical wrestler being pushed as the heavyweight champion and not just the IC, worker champion, it was a hard enough adjustment. Obviously the business evolved quickly and guys like that size could be on top, but I kind of got out during that time and only came back because of Hollywood Hogan and the heel turn. Not that you guys care. All right. Thank you. UFC Apex. Hey, Brian, is it true that 5 lunatic fans tried to attack Luke outside the studio 6 years ago? You mean the MK studio? And he judo through all of them and had one at a Boston Crab. I know he is too humble or numble to admit it. That is not true, but I'm sure Prime Luke, he's got stories about being a bouncer, throwing people around. I mean, he's a big dude. The thing people forget is, as big as you think Luke Thomas is, he's bigger in person. It's a big MFer right there. It's a nice man too. Okay, let's not slander Luke Thomas. Does he take an L about pronunciations? No, but he's a very nice man and a very good husband and father. So there we go. There it is. Okay, whoomp, there it is. Danger Mouse, talk to me right now. BC, I downloaded King Crimson Red to thank you. You gave it a chance. You went hard in the paint for your boy right here. Thank you. I'll report back next week. Only thing I've heard of theirs is wait, cock? No, you're giving the let's see the albums here. In the Court of the Crimson Mask. So you're talking about the all-time great, their best album, the debut, which I've yet to master, but I will. I'll get around to it. I'm oddly picking off other era albums of theirs as because I do have this rule where obviously we could all just go on eBay or any website and buy any vinyl we want. I love running into it in the store, but it has to be in the price range I agree with, and it has to be used because it's a story. You know what I'm saying? It's an heirloom. Like, I love when I buy the vinyl and somebody's name or address is on it, and you're like, who came of age in 1973 as a teenager with this record that I'm holding and playing right now? That kind of shit matters to me. I've got my dad's record collection. I'm going to be inheriting part of my uncle's that passed away. My best friend gave me his late parents' record collection. That stuff matters to me. Maybe because I grew up looking at my dad's vinyl, not being allowed to play it, but looking at it and reading it. And that's how I got here. Okay. Thank you. All right. Big old, big old Kotakuk. There we go. There it is. Okay. Ham Sammy, BC, do you? No, I don't. And I've been told forever that I should. And I knew they're big, I guess you could say, hits, and I respect the game. But, one of my all-time great friends who worked with me at ESPN, still is an executive there, is one of their biggest fans. I probably need to, right? Josh Holm, is that the guy's name, the lead singer? Hell of a drummer too, that guy. I haven't crossed over into that, but the good thing is there's still time. All right. That's the good thing. Okay. There we go. Brody Moret's back here. BC, what's your favorite wrestling walkout music ever? I'd have to pick the NWO Wolfpack song or Bret's song. This is a great question. And in prior years or eras, I would have been able to spit out my top 5 in order. It's just something I hadn't really thought about in a while. Because I felt like when I was covering WWE in that stretch from 2016 to 2020, particularly that insane run in NXT that was so great, I feel like they were putting out some of the best songs ever, from Bobby Roode's to Shinsuke Nakamura. Dude, when Shinsuke Nakamura's first hit, before they changed it to, dude, that was one of the most badass songs and entrances ever. And then at that takeover in Brooklyn, when they brought out the actual violinist, holy crap, right? Damn. I'm trying to think historically what, back then music wasn't great. I mean, I came up in an era when they played real rock songs. So like when Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka of AWA, Bad Company was their tag team with Diamond Dallas Page as their manager. When they'd come out to Bad Company by Bad Company, I'd be like, holy shit, yes. When the Freebirds would come out to Freebird, I'd be like, yes. Obviously once they started making their own music, it was comical type of music for a while. Obviously, you hear the HBK things that, that was bad. Sorry. Let's rewind that. Let's remove that part. It hits, it matters to you. But I got to think about that and get back to you. But the Shinsuke one and that NXT run was it just blew me away. Okay. Wolfpack, dude, great call. I would have to say in my top 3 is the Wolfpack theme song. And even though that was the beginning of the end of the NWO when they splintered, that short run where the Wolfpack was cool. Yeah, they're feuding with the white and black NWO, which is always the beginning of the end when that happens. But when that song hits, that was a stretch where I was going to community college, working at Stop and Shop with a bunch of hardcore weird wrestling fans, and going to Live Nitro in Hartford at the Civic Center. We went to Live Nitro at the TD Garden in Boston. I sat in the 5th row. That was during that gimmick where Scott Hall would come out drunk and then Sting would appear up in there'd be like the spotlight up and you'd be like, what's going to happen? And it turned out to be, Sting down the road. Yeah, when the Wolfpack would come out and that song, and Nash would have the Tupac bandana sideways, and then Conan would be about it and come out and be Odele. I mean, was there any time that it was cooler than that? I don't think so. You know what I mean? There we go. Hacksaw Jim. Okay, there's nothing cooler than that. Oh yeah, all American. There we go. Let's hear from Mark Antoine Barrio. I also listened to Red by King Crimson last week and today. It's good, but their debut is better. Respect. Their debut is one of the all-time great albums, man. But something about that Red album. It's like they dipped back into hard rock while still being their prog metal selves. And keep at it, MAD. Keep at it, Matt. All right, Barry. I'll keep at it, dude. I mean, one Red Nightmare. Good Lord, what a song! Damn it, that album's so good. Who is that dude? Who are you? The guy that came up in the line, he had an American accent at our London show. And he's just like, BC, you into King Crimson? I'm like, not yet. He's like, here's this Red album. It'll change your life. We need people like that. We need to protect those people. They are the Aaron Bronstetters of this world. Okay. We need to. Thank you. All right. Alan Dub, Reggie Jackson's thoughts on the MLB torpedo situation. Reggie couldn't give a flying one, but can they fix that? Can Major League Baseball fix that soon? Because I hate when rule changes lead to stats getting so blown out of proportion, like the passing yards in the NFL in recent years, because now you can't hit the quarterback and you can't slow down a wide receiver. Like what's going on in the NBA when, they open up the lane, no hand check, 3-pointers everywhere. And people are they are giving assists nowadays. Everyone's got a triple double every night. By the way, Jokic had 61, 10 and 10 last night, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But we're going to have a Barry Bonds hitting 73 again. If they don't fix this, if they don't figure this out. And it's not like the steroid era, and especially that incredible 98 year with Sosa, McGuire, and for a while, Ken Griffey, all threatening to break the records. And it took over the world. It was bigger than sports. My dad was so into it and he hates sports. He was like, is McGuire going to hit another Thunder Boomer tonight? And I'm like, yeah, Dad, let's watch it. Like, those are the moments you remember, right? Damn it. But they got to figure this out and stop that shit. We don't need 12 homers a game. Okay. As if I'm watching baseball anymore. Good Lord. Oh man. You can't say, you can't touch the quarterback anymore. I think you could touch him like in the boobs. That you could push him down. That's about it. Okay. Look, CTE is not for everybody, but you know what I mean? The football we came up in, damn it. Dr. Smurfo, what's with Ian Garry's Huevos? They're massive. They are massive. You got to respect that. Okay. All right. They're not on his chest danger. No. All right. Thank you. All right, I'm trying to catch up to these ones I missed earlier. Let's see. Salvador Darty. Thank you for your contribution to this. We're rocking now with the Topo Chico Tropical Mango Seltzer. I don't know. I found it in the garage fridge. Hi from down under. Usually can't tune in live, but I'm on the night shift, so I'm up at your time. Yeah, brother. My question is, who are your top 5 boxers in the UFC? We see that question a lot, don't we? We used to say Adrian Yanez, right? The guy's got hands. Ilya Topuria is a hell of a boxer. The angles on his hooks, the power he generates, the hand speed. Yes. Max Holloway has really, I mean, the volume punching, yes, those are 2 right there. I actually really like I mean, I know I'm staying in the featherweight division, but I really like Diego Lopez's hands. I really like how he's married that with his game. Tom Aspinall has great boxing. He has power. He has speed. I love the combinations. He's kind of like the new version of JDS and that Junior Dos Santos in that regard, who I always thought could have been a pro boxer had he wanted to, had he gone down that road. Those are the guys that would stand out to me. I mean, O'Malley brings a certain level of boxing knowledge to the game that I like to see. I really enjoy his hands in that regard. Dude, even Islam for a wrestler, man. I mean, he's not a wrestler. He's the pound for pound king. Islam Makhachev can box. I really think he's up there as well. That's me, though. Oh, wait, you tuned in to get my opinion. Yeah, that's me. That's what I got for you. All right. There's not a lot of chicks that have great boxing these days, but, you know, still time. Hopefully. All right. Sandine, what do you got? BC, you ever listened to Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking by Roger Waters? No, I've not gone down the Roger Waters or even the Gilmore solo road yet. Dude, I'm gonna be honest, like there's so much of Pink Floyd I haven't tried to master yet. And that's the band that I put up in that category that if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it right. You know, like Radiohead, like a few others. I know Dark Side. I know Wish You Were Here, which is one of my favorite records of all time. I think it's their best by far, but I don't even know if it's their best by far because I didn't get into Animals yet. I know Piper. That's a very good psychedelic album. Shout out to Sid Barrett. I've dabbled with some of the other ones, but there's going to be a time that BC just goes, you know, Uma Guma and just gets after it all. Then I'll get back to you on that, Sandine. Thank you. You know, you can't hear it all, but you can keep trying. You definitely can keep trying. All right. Tu Chang's the lover of the box. Tu Chang's lives for the box. He also likes boxing. You know what I mean? That's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, there we go. It's a good. Will we get Brian Norman Jr. versus Boots this year? I hope so. April 12th, 10 days from now, we're going to get Boots versus Imantas Staniosis, Bob's old Lithuanian, who's with PBC now, but they're going to do it. Matchroom card DAZN. Atlantic City. Love that fight. Brian Norman Jr. has one of the titles. So does Mario Barrios. I'm actually kind of hoping here, since 2 of the champions are fighting with Boots and Staniosis, and since PBC and Top Rank are talking about doing more business together, then I think it's time for Brian Norman Jr. and Mario Barrios to potentially get together for an unification. See, I don't know what it's going to be. Again, is there a dream scenario that maybe Top Rank, when their ESPN deal is up, signs with Prime, and maybe Prime and has PBC and Top Rank, and it's just going to be easy to almost throw fighters on each other's cards? Or maybe there's no such thing as each other's cards. Maybe there's just Prime boxing cards. Probably not, given the fact that although Prime is a really good platform for boxing, they're not, the deal is more of a distribution deal. They're not like investing in boxing like HBO and Showtime did, where they have their own matchmakers and announce team or whatever. It's promoter generated. That would make it easier. But even if we don't get to that point, a talent share, like I talked about it Inside the Box yesterday, a talent share program where maybe they say, okay, we're going to give you Xander Zayas for your PBC main event. Can you give us Mario Barrios for our Top Rank main event? That would be great. I'd like to see that happen. And then the winners face off next year for Undisputed. That's a dream scenario. It's possible that we get that. We're seeing guys more willing to work together for survival. That's what needs to happen for this to happen. The things are happening. What is this now? Dr. Smurfo. Animals is one of my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I hear great things, right? I hear great things. The thing is, I can't just casually put it on and listen to it as bad. I've got to commit. I got to go. I'm still getting through some of these Radiohead ones, getting in deeper with them. I mean, In Rainbows is so good. I mean, so good. Is it the best of their? It might be the best. It really might. How could I say that when I own Kid A and have lived OK Computer, right? Because it's that good. But at the same time, Hail to the Thief, can't get into it. I'm trying, can't get into it. I own it, can't get into it. Animals is a top 3 Sandine album. Yes. Thank you. All right. Dr. Smurfo. BC, ever listen to Captain Beefheart? Have not. Cannot comment, have not. Know of, cannot comment, have not listened. You can't hear it all, but you can try. Okay. You can try. All right. No way this man said Islam over. Okay. Let's over Justin Gaethje. Well, I mean, Justin Gaethje has fantastic power hooks. Does he have like the full slick boxing game? Maybe not. JDM can box. Dustin Poirier can box. Your mileage may vary. The temerity of your mileage may vary. That's neither here nor over there. I don't know. I'm just one man with one opinion. Okay. But I'm willing to change that opinion over time. All right, give me a chance. Pride Noguera had great hands at, Ham Sammy, you're right. He did have great hands. He also had the most absurd chin of all time. While yes, we'll talk about Roy Nelson's chin, Mark Hunt's chin. We'll talk about chins. Chin from the Shab show, the greatest chins ever. I mean, we'll talk about all the chins. Prime Noguera and Pride just had superhuman recuperative skills, just had an absurd chin. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sandy and Luke Thomas used to say BC would wear anything viewers sent in. Is that still the case? Yeah, we don't have a P.O. box yet, but yeah, I will. I'm a man of the people, all right? All right, thank you. I don't know what that means, but yeah. All right, there we go. Oh, another comment from Sandy. We're staying in Floyd for a second. Momentary lapse of reason is amazing. I like to fly to that danger and just kind of space out. That's cool. That's cool. By the way, it took me like a couple decades to understand how good the wall really is. You know, I remember like, passing around the bong in 1998 to the wall and being like, what the hell's going on here? But like, as an adult now, to really kind of break that down and understand it, it's so good. It reminds me a lot of Quadrophenia by The Who, another great double album, concept album of, I think Quadrophenia is a tiny bit better than The Wall though. Just like I think, Wish You Were Here is a step up from The Wall, but The Wall is fantastic. All right. Ham Sandwich BC, who would you like to see Bam Rodriguez fight now? I mean, I'd like to see him build toward the idea of fighting Nakatani and Inoue in terms of like who's next in his division. It's not at the front of my brain who I necessarily want to see, but that kid, that pound for pound top 10 kid with that mature ability and power and that mind, we had him on an MK, that mindset. I love that kid, man. I love it. Yeah, damn right, Christian. Chihuihuis for everybody, okay? Is Chihuihuis like the way to say wet dream in casual, in like, polite society? I don't know. Are wet dreams even a thing anymore? I haven't been 13 in a long time. All right. There we go. Danger Mouse. Metal is the earliest Floyd album I've heard. Mainly like it for the track Seamus that has a dog howling on it. I haven't gotten into metal yet. There we go. Marc Antoine Beausoleil here has some Radiohead thoughts. Let's hear it. All right. BC, I tried giving Radiohead a shot, but I find the singer Tom York's voice annoying. Wow. The sound quality is also not great, very noisy. Well, it's because it's genius art rock. Okay. It's genius. Okay. Have you had the same experience at the beginning? Yes. Look, there's certain artists I could recommend to you. Like I could be like, oh, want to try out jazz fusion? Go put on Mahavishnu Orchestra. You're going to put it on and go, what the heck is this? I don't want this in my life, right? Like the more genius sometimes, or the more extreme the music, the quicker it weeds out people that aren't going to have the patience to find out why it's really great. Why do I always say that even though I won't rank it as my favorite album of all time, every time I hear OK Computer, I question if that's the greatest record I've ever heard, not just of Radiohead, of anybody. Because it took me like 40 listens to truly understand what that record was really trying to do. And then over time, it kept changing what I thought they were trying to do soundscape wise, even have an idea of what the concept of it was, which I now do, but that took a while. There's pop music that is like open up a pack of candy and put in your mouth. It tastes great. The taste you may wear out that taste quickly, but it tastes great, right? This is the type of stuff that you've got. It's why I won't casually put on Animals by Pink Floyd on my Alexa and just be like, let me judge it right now and get back to you next week. No, I got to live with that album. I got to be intimate with it. I got to find out what makes it work. I got to find out the history behind it. Where was the band mentally when they wrote it? Like, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. All right. This is art. This is not disposable. Napster was wrong. Let's get back into art. There's no such thing as greatest hits. There's art. There's albums. There's a period in time when a band says, this is who we are right now. Here are influences. This is what we are trying to tell you. I guess you could have that because, you know, on its surface, Radiohead is abstract and raw and, you know, all those things. I mean, I don't even think you can put on, as much as I just said I love In Rainbows, first 5-6 listens, I'm like, what the hell is it? That's what it is. But then, you know, then it's like the first time anyone saw me on MK, they're like, oh God, who the hell? Why would Luke sign up with this dick joke having, shit MMA take giving, crooked nose bass tard? But look at us now. Look at us now. All right. Art. Something like that. Something like that. All right. All right. Let's hear from Musty Biscuits. No one wants that. No one wants that, right? BC, as a Latino, I always liked Eddie, or you're talking about Guerrero, and his semi-racist sayings. I still say I cheat, I lie, cheat, and steal. Yep, absolutely. Do you think that would fly today? Latino heat and the Canadian hat that will not be named were number one. Yeah. I think that would fly today. I think Guerrero's gimmick is almost timeless in that regard. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's the toughness, it's the swagger. And then at the same time, he could back it up and be one of the best pure wrestlers, technical wrestlers, high flying wrestlers, everything. The guy was everything. Everything I said before about how I've always, you know, almost held it against Bret Hart because it was the first time I was willing to accept a smaller man as champion. That Bret had a crawl so these guys could walk, so that Eddie Guerrero one day could be the WWE champion, so that we're not allowed to say his name, but Chris Benoit could win the WrestleMania 20 main event in New York City and for a minute have this great moment that has just been wiped from the earth for rightful understanding reasons. Brody Moret, I think Radiohead's In Rainbows is their bet. Thank you. I never thought I would like anything better than OK Computer. I really didn't. Then I finally got into Kid A 2 years ago, right? And I got fisted by it. Is that like? Can you say that out loud? I got, you know. Then they turned their hand over. I don't know. Remember Buttermilk Biscuits? Sandine says by Sir Mix-a-Lot. What the hell was even that? I don't remember that, but baby did, and maybe still does have back. Okay. Let me go back to some of these saved questions. Thank you for giving things a try, though, people. All right. Thank you for trying to get into the art. There we go. All right. Saul. Oh, we hit that. Thank you, Saul. You're always there for us when we need you. Brody, SBC, as someone who missed most of Guillermo Rigondeaux's fights, what makes him so great? I know all you boxing nerds love him. What makes him so great was that at his absolute peak and prime, and he's always going to be a non-commercially marketable fighter who's his own worst enemy. You have to understand what the old generation of Cuban boxers, I'm glad it's changed. People like Xander Zayas, people like Yoenis Tejas, people like David Morrell Jr., people like, you know, I mean, maybe Casamayor in some ways was the beginning of that change. He was ahead of his time, a Cuban boxer who could do the art and respect and love and live by the art, but could also fight when he needed to. But the Cubans of Rigo's era, who are just so technically brilliant with their footwork, with their speed, their countering abilities, going through that Cuban school, they're inevitably going to be in fights where judges won't understand the art that they're doing and won't award them the rounds, and they're going to lose close fights that they should have won because they should have been more offensive. Why can't they pull that trigger? Because it's an art to them. And it's almost like, if you don't understand my art, then F you. I'm still going to go home. And that was obviously one of the biggest knocks against Rigo, why he was never going to fulfill his potential, and why, yeah, he would eventually get that double gold medal versus double gold medal matchup against Lomachenko, but it would come at a time where Rigo was 2 weight divisions over his head and, you know, had been screwed over before and screwed himself over enough that he's not going to stand in there and brawl. So once he realized he couldn't win that fight, he no-mossed and was like, F you guys, I'm out of here. But at his prime, at his peak, at his masterpiece, that was the poster I have framed right there, that I think I'm going to change and put it right here for a bit. April 13th, right? April 13th, April 7th, 2013. Anyway, 2013, Radio City Music Hall, number 3 pound for pound, Nonito Donaire in his way. And he just disarmed him so brilliantly. Now, did he throw enough punches to prevent the idea that some people scored it for Donaire or people weren't willing? I mean, Rigo beats the number 3 pound for pound Donaire, and Dan Rafael, who never appreciated that style, wouldn't even put him in his pound for pound top 10 after that. And that broke my heart, And Dan, who I love, and been his editor, been up and down, argued with him a million times. Still can't believe he put Klitschko number 1 pound for pound after after Floyd retired, and still can't believe a few other things. It's not for everybody, I guess, that style, but what he did against that version of Donaire was just beautiful. It's not for everybody, but the reflexes, the power, the fact that you're just not going to touch him. Damn. And Rigo had swagger and confidence too. Now, would he back it up and brawl? Only when he really, really, really needed to. But that's that. Hold on, I got to close this door. Reggie's killing me. This is the story of my life. You take the good, you take the bad with that guy, right? Seriously. Okay.
He can't handle your speed, son.
Sorry, I got to close that door because, my family's like, hey, we love you. Thank you for your hard work in your career, but we don't really want to hear your podcast. Okay. So there we go. Especially not for 3 hours. Yeah. All right. Let me get back to these great questions from these great people out here, or at least they seem that way. I mean, does, Brody Moret have disgusting internet search history? Probably, but that's fine. I don't hold it against him necessarily. Speaking of Reggie, Alan W., thank you for your support. Says even a thug needs a bitch to come home to. Yes, I'm Reggie's bitch. I'm Reggie Jackson's bitch. Thank you very much. That is a true fact. Okay. But you know what? If I didn't support him, he'd probably be gone because he pisses off everybody in this house. So Reggie, I got your back, baby. Thug recognizes a thug. All right. Something like that. Hey, Signature Sounds. Thank you. Over under 5 minutes of Friday's MK, in which Luke mentions his Substack. I don't know, but he should. That's his new endeavor. It's his new venture. Support Luke Thomas, unless you don't want to. I think that's a highly political lane for him, so maybe you don't want it. That's fine. Look, at the end of the day, like who you like, vote for who you like, support for who you like, super chat for who you like. But let that man sell his shit, just like the next time I'm on some broadcast, I'm going to be telling you to watch that just the same. There you go. There you go, Signature Sounds. All right. Sandine, Reggie can stay with me and Chatri and Steven. Those the name of your cats or your... I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this, Sandine. Thank you. Let's hear from Dolly Dallas too. Unfortunately, I have to turn myself into county next week, chat. Going to probably be down 3 to 5. Wish me luck. We talking days, months, or years here, Dolly. One love out to you. If there's a program in which, you get one phone call and you can dial into this podcast next Wednesday, we'll take your call. Okay. We will take your call. Okay. All right. Just remember in the can, don't drop the soap. Thank you. Are we still allowed to say that? Probably not. Okay. Hashtag support Luke Thomas. Thank you, Sandine. Thank you. Great stuff here. Great stuff. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Alan W. Thank you for your support as always, Alan W. What a nice gentleman. Have you thought, BC, about getting back into pro wrestling professionally? This is an interesting question. They perform better than boxing and MMA combined with all metrics in broadcast and social media. There is a lower entrance barrier in media, and it's hot now. It is hot now. They removed the obstacle that stopped them from writing storylines that made sense and actually rewarded fans. That obstacle was the same man who defecated in that woman's hair, allegedly, okay? That same man is what drove me out of this business, both professionally as a podcaster and writer, even though, to be honest, at that time and right before the pandemic, and I remember I got the phone call when I was at Cowboy Connor from my boss that was like, you know what? I think we should drop this pro wrestling thing. UFC's on fire. We need you. And I was wearing down. Look, if you don't know, unless you're my therapist or my wife, I'm all or nothing. I don't have a good middle balance game. I'm trying. I'm a work in progress. But if I'm going to get into something, I'm going to be all in, right? Like Radiohead, like Animals by Pink Floyd. So back when I cared about trying to be the best pro wrestling podcast in the world, it's like, I'm not going to do this unless I'm going to watch everything, unless I'm going to be on top of it. Would I come back in right now? I mean, it's intriguing, the storyline of the, Roman Reigns and the, what do you call that? That whatever that great storyline was with the tribe and the what I'm talking about. I should have been watching that, but I didn't. Every time I tried to get into it, every time someone's like, man, AEW's on fire, you got to watch, Bryan Danielson against the flippy guy, all the stuff. And I'll try. And then I'm like, nah, I just don't want back in. I will say though, I had to watch a couple of times. I did a couple of HQ hits around the Cena heel turn where they actually wanted me to talk pro wrestling, and I got back in a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of intriguing. It's kind of making me want to not watch everything though, but kind of watch from a distance. And Alan W., I do legitimately miss wrestling podcasting because I think it's the most theatrical. It's the most where, like, think about it. Your job is like music critic. Your job is to rate the matches and rate the storytelling. I kind of like that aspect of it. Not so much the aspect of like the Dave Meltzer breaking news of who's going to sign with who, or, let me give away the finish to WrestleMania now because somebody told me. No, don't report that shit. I have to tell you that somebody has interest in me getting back in the wrestling podcasting game at a very high level with a very famous name. And I'm strongly considering it, but I don't necessarily think that means I have to get back in and watch everything every week. I think it might be a little more step back, to look out, you know what I mean? Rather than being on the inside and being, week to week and debating this promo and did that change the storyline and the build to WrestleMania, or did it set it back? I'm not going to be that again. I do miss wrestling interviews. I do have a insatiable passion for the history of wrestling, not the full history, but the history since I started watching in 1985. I feel like I could interview anybody from, that's wrestled since then and be able to really pull out interesting tidbits and stories and all of that. I enjoy that stuff, but the idea of getting back in like wrestling writing, no. And I don't necessarily know, how long it would take to build up an audience if I did on my own try to get back into it. I mean, every time I talk about wrestling on here, you guys cringe, or on MK or on anything, it goes negative, it goes backwards. So I'm considering one avenue, one project that would really appeal to me. We'll see if it takes off and we get there. But thank you for the support, Alan. And as a big picture, watching, from a distance, watching the Cody storyline of coming back to WWE, that was special. Was it as special as me being in Giant Stadium when Kofi Kingston climbed that mountain and I had legitimate tears in my eyes as an adult? It seems to be close. I mean, it's still real to me in terms of the things that were real to me, the matches that I saw during those years in person that I covered, those storylines that I got enveloped in. Damn. There's something about this genre when it's done right. It can make a grown man cry. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember when Ibushi and Omega reunited that time in NJPW? I almost lost my ish. You know what I'm saying? Damn it. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's see what else we got. Signature sounds. We hit that. Thank you, sir. I got to remember to undo these. Run them cheeks. My boy, Joe. Thank you, sir, for joining. All right. This man once climbed Mount Fuji with his lady while wearing the MK bomber jacket. That's the dedication I'm talking about. Thank you for your support to this fine podcast. Hey, BC, saw an MMA on Point video where they said, quote, not a damn soul on the planet thought Ngannou would win by wrestling Cyril Gane. Might want to correct them on that. Enjoy your vacation. Thank you, Joe. I did shit out that comment, right? That time. It was a what if to Luke, and Luke poo-pooed it. And I think a lot of people would have, but the reason why I did that was because the fight before, when Ngannou won the heavyweight championship in the rematch with Stipe, he shocked us by not only getting top position on Stipe, but landing a vicious level of ground and pound that reminded me of the Brock Lesnar rematch with Frank Mir when he had that horseshoe up his ass and Brock had to pull it out. And then he had to get on top of his wife and drink a Coors Light or whatever, I'm talking about. And I remember thinking, man, if Ngannou really adds this to his game, he could have a Brock-like effect on these heavyweights and sort of like, don't let this guy get on top. He's going to ruin you. He's going to turn you into a not a power bottom, the opposite, or something like that. Let's get some Huel fuel in here, okay? Yeah, I like that MK sponsor. I'm rocking the iced coffee, 35 grams of protein, Joe. All right. It's not for everybody, but it is for me. All right. Shout out to the fine sponsors of MK. We used to have an MK sponsor called AG1. Shout out to them. So yeah, that was me, not the Huel. I swear. All right. Let me read, by the way, is there anything better than the UFC 196 RDA Conor McGregor room key from the MGM Grand? I don't think there is. So yeah, that was something I just saw. I said, look, if Ngannou, who's going to be hurt coming into this Gon fight, we knew that. The knee is not responding, Campion. We knew that would happen. That's a Cotto Martinez reference. I felt it. I went with team vibes in that situation. And right now I'm team vibing that Ian Garry's better than you think, and he has monster Huevos. So there we go. Thank you for your support of this damn channel. All right. There we go. Lazy Bet, hit me with it. Hey, BC, did you ever listen to guitarist Al Di Meola? You're damn right I did. If so, do you ever listen to Al Di Meola on weed? Red team go. Red team go. Yeah. In the deep in the 8th row. How about the 88th row? Yeah, dude, Al Di Meola rules. It's funny. Before I got into vinyl in the pandemic, which quickly led me into jazz and jazz fusion. I've told you before, somehow Joni Mitchell was the gateway drug that got me into actual jazz and then jazz fusion and introduced me to Jaco Pastorius. But it was my neighbor. Shout out to Dan, not Handy Dan. He lives down the road. Regular Dan. And one day, Regular Dan texted me and was like, I think you'd really like this guy, Al Di Meola, on guitar. Like, I don't know if you're into jazz fusion, but you should check it out. I just planted that in my brain. And then when I did get into jazz fusion, I checked it out. Dude, Al Di Meola rules. I mean, Lazy Bet will tell you right here, right now, that Al will take you on a journey. So he was a part of the Chick Corea-led jazz fusion supergroup Return to Forever, which isn't my favorite. Like, look, of the power supergroups in 1970s jazz fusion, I'm a Weather Report guy, also a Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters guy. I do have a few Return to Forevers, and I love them. Chick Corea. I love it. Al's good on there. But Al's first 3 solo albums, particularly Casino, they're just freaking awesome. I mean, he's amazing. His version, his solo stuff, like even if you aren't a big jazz fusion guy, because you might go, it's too much jazz for me. Because what is jazz fusion? It's taking rock instruments like electric guitar. Normally jazz will focus on the bass and the sax, but jazz fusion is bringing in the elements of rock. Thank you, Miles Davis. Yes, you were right. 5 different times you've changed music. This was one of them. But I think Al Di Meola's version, his solo fusion, his first 3 albums, really are the most rock palatable if you don't think that you can get into that. Because I've given my rock fans, hey, dude, I'm into this rock fusion. Go listen to Heavy Weather by Weather Report. And, I don't hear from these guys again. So maybe they didn't like it. But I really feel like if anybody was to take, and Al Di Meola's 70 now and he's still touring, and he tours locally and I never see him. 1976's Land of the Midnight Sun, 1977's Elegant Gypsy, and 1978's Casino are really all 4.5 to 5-star albums back to back to back. They could change your life. He's a cool dude. And his album covers are great. The cover of Casino is like him sitting in a wicker chair with these plants around him and this hot chick that he's staring at in the corner like that. I can get down with that. That's the 70s in my head, even though I only was alive in the 70s for a year and a half. That's what cool 70s was in my head. All right. There we go. Thank you. Not like anybody cares, but thank you. Hey, Lazy Bed cares. All right. That's the thing. That's the thing. Hank the Tank. BC, how did you get your facial hair that color? So this is natural. Your boy BC hates when this goes all gray. So I dye the top. Now my wife gets on me because I don't dye the sides, and then inevitably I've got brown on top and gray hair, and she's like, "You look like a clown," and she's probably not wrong. But the problem is I like to get the short haircuts, especially if I'm going to be on broadcast TV. Why? Because it takes 10 to 15 years off if I get that fade on the side. So I dye this. I don't mess with this. I've dyed the beard before, but I look like that, Pawee McGregor 2 show when we hosted the first live show at the MG, or what was that hotel? The old Monte Carlo. What the hell is it called? Park MGM. When we hosted from that sports book, and I accidentally, went 68 comeback special Elvis jet black and did it on the beard too, and just looked like a clown. Yeah, BC will screw up for your entertainment. But no, this is brown and gray, and it is what it is. All right. Please DM me. You don't have to answer publicly. No, I have no shame in this game. Okay. Really, I'm just a middle-aged man trying to figure it out. Okay. Thank you very much. Muhammad Ahmad, Bruce Lee. Yeah, dude, Herbie Hancock is there. There were moments where I thought Herbie was the jazz fusion goat, and maybe you can't tell me he's not, but Thrust, the album Thrust is how I got into Herbie Hancock, and I have that on vinyl, and it is just, oh God. But the in particular, the Headhunters album by Herbie. So 1973 is some of the best shit you'll ever hear. Thrust was the following year, but in between that, he had Sextant, which is another underrated album. I really like, by the way, it doesn't get reviewed that great, but in 1980, Herbie put out an album called Mr. Hands that is really, really good shit. Obviously, Herbie has a few eras. He has the Future Shock album in 83, which had that famous song that he won Grammys for, and there was an MTV video. What the hell was that called? That instrumental. What the hell is that song called? Rocket. Thank you, Rocket. But and obviously there's a whole 1960s version of Herbie with many classics that I've yet to really dive into and own. The problem is, I'll give you the problem, because I have these weird rules of like how I want to find my vinyl, and it's got to be in my price range and used. Herbie's vinyl is so overpriced. In certain bands are like that, right? Queen, Zeppelin. I mean, certain bands, Bowie, Zappa. It's really hard to find affordable, decent, and I understand it, but I'm always looking for Herbie. Okay. Let's hear my Canadian brethren, Marc-Andre Barriot. Watched Uncut Gems yesterday, BC, since you talked about it last week. Was pretty good. All right. I could praise you for hearing my recommendation and taking a chance for BC. Thank you for taking one for the team. But I don't think I can praise you by saying pretty good. This has been an ongoing debate with people in my life where I see a certain movie and just fall for it. And suddenly it's in my top 5 all time, like 1917. Like Uncut Gems, like Dune 1 and 2. And maybe I hype it up too big, and then people are expecting the world, and they go in and they don't have that same experience that I had in the theater in the 88th row. It's possible. But I don't know how you can watch Uncut Gems knowing Sandler's history of being a goofball and watch him in that role and watch him just nail it, and the art of the Safdie brothers and Kevin Garnett's insane performance in there, and the fact that movie is just a constant train wreck of your emotions. It is constantly challenging you and putting you on the edge of your seat, and it never ends. And as soon as you get a break, you're back in it, brother. You're on that roller coaster. Pretty good, Marc-Andre? No, bro. Great. Oscar worthy. And I'm not talking about the fishnets. All right. Thank you. All right, breathe deeply. Where's my Huel? Watch this. I'll drink it and not even cough. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. We are live or live. It's your choice. I literally fell asleep 2 to 3 times during Dune 2. Well, we're literally not friends anymore. Thank you very much, live. Okay, thank you. Hey, look, what can I tell you? Okay, if you're 46 like me, and Star Wars was the thing of your youth, only to find out that Lucas stole all this shit from Frank Herbert, and then forget that 1984 version of Dune, it never happened. And then our guy Villeneuve comes out and just puts on a freaking masterpiece, and you go, that's what Star Wars should have been. That's my Star Wars. Rogue One is my Star Wars. Okay. Star Wars Episode 4, that's my Star Wars. But Dune 1 and 2 is right? All right. I mean, really, guys, really? Dune 2 was a snoozer. Who are you? RYD1ZZ. Damn it. I mean, seriously, right? Lucas done it better. Not George Lucas. Okay. Maybe the 1986 comedy / drama Lucas starring Corey Haim and Charlie Sheen. Maybe that did it better. Not George Lucas. Okay. Thank you. Great question, Signature Sounds. Great question. Man, you guys got some opinions. It's fine. You can have those opinions. Signature Sounds, thank you for your support of this podcast. Working with the PBC, have you ever met the mythical man known as Al Heyman? You'd be surprised how many people have worked for the PBC for a long time and haven't met Al, or for fighters that have only talked to him on the phone. I have a lot of respect for Al Heyman. Ultimately, his legacy and what he's done for this game has been a plus for boxing. He put the fighter first, put it above the fans at times, and not everything has worked. The PBC takeover in 2015 didn't fully work, although he got the Fox deal and had a great run on Showtime. And Al has been a key part of my career, yet I've never talked to him, never emailed him, never texted him, never, I have heard at various times that he was a fan of me. It's probably why I received certain opportunities, and I had to hit a home run. And I hope I did. And I'd find out that Al approved the hire, but I do owe some very key parts in my career to Al signing off on me. Now, have I seen him in person? Yes, I've seen him in person twice. No, more than that. First time I saw him was the second fight I ever covered, a fight that changed my life in 2011. Andre Berto versus Virgil Ortiz won from one of the greatest boxing venues ever that no one uses anymore, the MGM Theater at Foxwoods in Connecticut. Tiny theater where the upper deck's like over the ring, and when things happen, that arena shakes. And things happened, by the way, in the 2011 fight of the year. Berto Ortiz won. But that fight is very notable for the fact that Floyd and Al were kind of feuding with HBO at the time. It's part of what would eventually lead to Al taking all of his fighters, including Floyd, in 2013 and going over to Showtime and turning the industry on its head. Led to that incredible 2013 where HBO and Showtime were competing head to head. But that fight card is known because 50 Cent owned the house in Farmington, Connecticut, not far from where I live, that Mike Tyson used to own. Floyd was visiting him there. They took a helicopter from the house in Farmington to Foxwoods. Why? Because Floyd, who was at that time doing the one fight a year retirement thing, was scouting, and he was going to fight the winner of that welterweight title fight between Ortiz and Berto. It would end up being Victor Ortiz and the best performance of his career. And part of it was they purposely sat front row center ringside, 50, Floyd, and Al Heyman, back when Al Heyman used to do certain power moves in his battle with HBO to show them that he's in charge, and sometimes would sit ringside. Eventually that would stop, and Al went into like full recluse power mode where he ran the scenes from behind, ran it all from behind the scenes. But during, let's say, 2014, when Mayweather fought Maidana twice, I got off the elevator at the MGM Grand once, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye that Al got off. And it was the first time I had seen, outside of seeing him ringside at that fight, it was the first time I had seen. And by this time in 2014, he was elusive. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, there he is. And he's wearing a white and black suit. Not overly impressive. He's a regular guy in that regard, even though he's very successful, Harvard educated, had revolutionized the music touring industry, and took that same model to boxing. But he moves quickly. He's not looking to, meet fans or sign autographs. So he gets off the elevator and he's flying down the hallway. And me, as the young, intrepid reporter who wanted to, get a good story for a future podcast or what have you, I chased him down the hall at MGM Grand, and I'm like running behind him, trying to like just get a feel. Is he real? Like, what's going on here? And it's funny, like he's flying until he saw somebody outside the press room, outside the arena of MGM Grand, who was like, Al, I forgot who it was, a manager or somebody in the boxing game. And Al, is a gentleman, just stops on a dime and has a conversation with him. And I walked by him quick, and I was just like, oh my God. And then as soon as that conversation's over, Al just disappears into the night. That was that. After the weigh-in for Maidana Floyd 2, Floyd was up on the in the MGM Grand Arena. They have the riser where like SportsCenter would put a desk up there. Floyd was getting interviewed on the ESPN desk Al was standing out of there. I was walking up the stairs because after Floyd was done, my digital series making the rounds on ESPN was allowed to do a quick hit from that desk. It was going to be me, Ray Flores, and Danny Jacobs. And Al and Floyd were coming down the stairs, and I walked past him. And it's still, because Al is so elusive, it was like, oh my God, it's Al Heyman. We didn't say anything to each other. And then the only time I saw him again after that was at Mayweather Pacquiao. And this is such an Al Heyman story. I always say, and it's true, the greatest moment in sports, the most exciting, just invigorating moment in sports is the final 10 minutes before they ring the bell to open round one of a super big pay-per-view super fight. Is there anything bigger than Mayweather Pacquiao at that time, May 2nd, 2015? No. So as they enter the ring, as they begin the announcements, I mean, you just look around. Mayweather Pacquiao and Mayweather Canelo, and to some degree Mayweather McGregor, were the only fights that you look in the ringside area. There's so many, not just famous people, like A1 famous people, Tom Brady, like, that level, where you have to actually try to find the people that aren't famous in between, because there's so many of them. And I'm looking around the arena, and it's just, buzzing, and everyone's on their feet, and the anticipation is like, if you're in that moment and you're ringside for that, you'll be a boxing fan for life. You'll be willing to go through the ups and downs and the bullshit of this business. And I looked out of the corner of my eye, and Al Heyman's ringside, standing right next to the ring apron. I'm like, oh my God, Al Heyman's here. And I think he came out just to get a taste, right? Just to get a feel. And I was sitting, I think Rafe was sitting behind me. I think I had Dan Rayfield next to me. And I think I turned around to be like, Rafe, who at the time was working for Grantland. And I was like, Rafe, Al Heyman. And as I turned back, he was gone. And when I mean gone, I mean like gone, like already backstage. Dude moves quickly. Dude moves very quickly. That's it. That's the story of BC and Al. But no, we're not texting. I don't see him. I don't think he even goes to fights anymore, but he still is the decision maker behind the scenes, and PBC still alive and well. We'll see what happens. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's stay on this horse. All right. Maybe we can get a little more of this Huel in here. You guys feeling what I'm feeling? No? All right. Yeah, LNW jumped in on that Bret Hart talk. Bret Austin, WrestleMania 13, Chicago, was an important turning point in history. I think more so than it being a class. It was both. It's arguably Al. And look, I'm going to keep talking about wrestling if you guys are asking me about it, all right? It's arguably the only or the best example of one of the hardest things to do in wrestling promotion, the double turn, where a guy comes in as the good guy and exits as the bad guy. It's probably the best it's ever been pulled off. Steve Austin, even with him having already delivered the Austin 316, I just what I'm talking about, the King of the Ring, the speech that he gave to Doc Hendricks, talking about Jake Roberts. Obviously, that's like, there's no Stone Cold without that moment. And by the way, he delivered that off the cuff, which is so Stone Cold, so awesome. It was real, right? That's why that worked, because it was real. Because we know his story of getting cut by WCW and injured, and Paul Heyman bring Steve to ECW, just letting him cut promos and be angry and talk bad about Bischoff. So all that is great, but it doesn't matter unless he has this match with Bret, where he comes in as the heel, Bret comes in as the babyface, and then they switch after, of course, the epic match and the bleeding. And I remember, even though at that time I'm 18 years old, right? Or sorry, I'm just 17, just shy of 18. I'm still thinking or is it 97? So I'm 18 years old. Yeah, that's 97, right? Yeah, whatever. WrestleMania 13. 14 is 98. So yeah, that's 97. Sorry, 14 is Boston, 98. 13 is Chicago, 97. So I'm 18. I remember thinking shit, I know wrestling's not real, but that made me want to believe that it is, with the blood dripping and Steve passing out. That moment is the ultimate babyface turn. The ultimate, because it shows how badly this guy wants it. It's Rocky 1. Rocky doesn't win against Apollo. Spoiler alert in Rocky 1. But like Ian Machado Garry against Shavkat, he was the real winner in the end. Yo, Adrian, where's your hat? Which is the weirdest line ever delivered at the most poignant part of a movie of all time. Because I was thinking the same thing. Where is your damn hat, Adrian? You were wearing it when you were running to the ring. But, and then Bret completing the heel turn by being the dastardly. Yeah, you're right. And it is a turning point moment. It's everything. So if it's your favorite match of all time, that's fine. That's great. That's great. You know, in a way, like, is it better than Shawn Michaels Undertaker from WrestleMania 24 or 25? Maybe not move for move, but it probably tells a more impactful story. And it's gritty, and obviously it's technically brilliant. And it's two of the all-time greats in the ring. Like, before injuries, Steve could work, man. He could really work, you know? There we go. Okay, thank you. Let's hear from is this Reload or Load? Give me Huel, give me Fire, give me yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lazy. That's a good comment, by the way. Lazy Bed, you know, I did say that when I listened to Just Bleed Radio, he sounded like he was 14, and people were like, man, BC just turned heel on late. No, shout out to Lazy Bed, all right? I gotta say, I thought Lazy Bed was British. Apparently not. Just some American bloke. All right. There it is. Whoomp. There it is. All right, let's hear from Saul, because we love that guy. Luke thinks I want to bang all the MK wives. No, come on. Let these viewers keep their marriage bed pure. All right. Ran into a Joni Mitchell vinyl yesterday. Too much money. Yeah, Joni can be overpriced. I still don't own the best Joni album, Blue. Why? Because I found it twice, and it was like, $50, something ridiculous. Like, I got to find a used Joni Blue in the right price range. But Joni's not for everybody either, especially like if I'm like, yo, there was a time I thought Joni was the GOAT, which is true. But then you go put on like early Joni where it's folk, you might not like that. I get that. There's different Jonis. I mean, she's like Neil Young, like Bob Dylan. She's just changing genres left and right, album to album. But at some point you'll realize that there's something different going on there. There's something way different. And I always hated Joni. You ever see Joni in a music documentary? She's always smoking cigarettes in her own living room, and she's always tearing apart everybody, dropping bombs on Dylan. He's unoriginal. Like, I thought she was just this bitch. Turns out she's one of the most talented artists of all time. Her paintings are great. Great. All right. Brody says, BC, if I ever get a wife, I'll let. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's friendship right there. Thank you very much. All right, that's like Hulk Hogan and what's that guy's name? The DJ the SpongeBob guy. You know what I'm talking about. All right, thank you. Enough Hogan talk here. I mean, there we go. That's what. That's it. All right. By the way, shout out to Showtime. Speaking of Mayweather Pacquiao, Showtime gave all the media members who were ringside for that. Gave them an actual ticket and mailed them to this. One of my favorite. I don't keep a lot of artifacts. I'm not a memorabilia collector. I've kept a lot of things I've gotten at fights, room keys, T-shirts. There used to be a thing called swag bags you get as a media member. I heard that Don King swag bags were the best. I didn't experience that. But Richard Schaefer Golden Boy swag bags, back when Golden Boy was on top, the swag bag I got at Mayweather Canelo at the Hakkasan Lounge party for media was some of the best shit I've ever seen. There was like so many things in there, but this is awesome. All right. This is an actual real, like, hard plastic ticket of the biggest fight of our lifetimes. All right. Damn. Too bad it happened so late and Pacquiao's shoulder went out. Too bad. Really? He didn't want to get knocked out, and that's true. All right. It's a hard take. Floyd came out with those stinging right hands in round 1 and round 11, the 2 key points where he had to send a message to Pacquiao that Marquez fourth fight could happen again if you cross that line. And Pacquiao said, you know what? I'm going to live behind the shoulder and not cross that line. All right. I'm done with hot takes for now. Alan W., thank you. Interesting stat, says Al. Could I call you Al? I mean, will Alan W. ever agree to appear on the show? Is that anything that can happen in real life? It'd be great if he agreed, but like we had him with like a blurred face and like a changed voice. That'd be awesome. Interesting stat. In 2000, vinyl record sales were under 1 million records. 2023, it was 40 million. Yeah, what was it? 2 years ago was the first year that vinyl outsold every other thing again. Vinyl's great. Damn it. Wow. All right. BC, can we hear it? Yeah, let's go to Freddie Roach real quick.
He can't handle your speed, son.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Oh, look at this. Public pressure, Tiddlywinks. Hey, Alan W., do it for the people, okay? Do it for the people. Musty Biscuits. BC, when you get a P.O. box, you're going to get so much records and hot sauce. I'd accept those gifts. I've actually received, what was that dude's name that used to send us stuff to the old bomb shelter? He sent me a really cool Depeche Mode record. Used to send us gifts. That's always so nice when you guys do that. When you hear us say something we would like. I got to shout out why do I always wear t-shirts of my buddy Enoch Marchant from Nice Price Records in Raleigh, North Carolina, because that guy sends me curated care packages of records from his own store that he hears me talking about on there. That guy's been listening to me talk about boxing for like 12 years. Shout out to that guy. All right. Yeah, I got to get a P.O. box. My wife is like, don't you ever give out our address. I got to give a P.O. box. All right. There we go. Shout out to Corey Marlin, too. Great MK fan, going through a lot, but he's fighting the good fight. That guy sent me some amazing Radiohead records one day. It was like, BC, it's time you get into these now. All right, there we go. LNW, I am Al Heyman. Well, imagine that. Imagine if he really was. Imagine that. That'd be awesome. I'd probably lose my job if that was true, but it'd be awesome. You know. Thank you, Al. Thank you. All right. Remix is here, and we like this guy. He shows up on Inside the Box too. Don't think I didn't see that remix. Hey BC, were you a Kobe or Shaq guy? Great question. Being born in 97, Remix says, I have no memory of prime Shaq. Damn, you missed a mythical creature that me and Mark Alsdorf used to call just playoff Shaq. The Shaq from the year 2000 to the year 2000. I guess you could say 4, but playoff Shaq couldn't beat the Pistons in 04. So maybe we'll end it at 02. That version of Shaq who would get fat, be injured, but then turn it on in the playoffs. Good Lord, that was a mythical creature. So Remix says, I missed it, but my older brother and I were diehard Kobe fans. He won me over with the last 2 rings. Yeah, I'll give respect to Kobe for that. Even though he went through that shitty Magic team because Kevin Garnett was injured that year in 09. He did come back in that ridiculously shitty game 7 against the Celtics in 2010, which still gives me nightmares that they didn't win that. I shed real man tears when he died. I know a lot of people were crazy moved, and just like my Dale Earnhardt 2001 Daytona 500 turn 4 jokes, maybe I should chill on the 9/11 jokes and the Kobe helicopter jokes. But here's the deal. I've come around to really respect Kobe, the sadistic winner warrior he is. He's Jordan 2.0 in so many ways, but I respect the guy. But I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm not supposed to like Kobe. On top of that, look, Kobe came in, he took Brandy to the prom. He came in with so much swagger. Now, ultimately, he could back it up. But like, if I'm a Celtics fan and I don't love this idea of who this Kobe guy is, and then as a rookie, Del Harris is putting him in the lineup against Utah in that big playoff game, and he's airballing 2 or 3 3-pointers in the final 2 minutes with the game on the line. I'm like, not ready for prime time. Then in 98 in the All-Star game, the fans voted him in, even though Del Harris controversially doesn't want to start him. So Kobe's coming off the bench. And that story of the 98 All-Star game at MSG where Kobe just hogs the ball. Now, he made some incredible shots, including that ridiculous crossover skyhook as he's falling out of bounds, which is just absurd. He had a great game. He hogged the shit out of the ball that George Karl had to pull him from the game in the 4th quarter so he didn't upstage Jordan. Then 1999, Kobe won me over. He finally gets consistent starting jobs. And I think he even got votes for 6th man of the year that year, but eventually he became a full-time starter. I'll never forget Christmas Day of 99 or Christmas night when the Spurs came to LA and Kobe, wearing the white glove on his right hand because he was injured, dunked on Jaren Jackson in one of the greatest facial dunks of all time, and then stood over him quickly like a teabag. And I'm like, okay, this kid's got moxie. And then in 2000, even though his scoring average had yet to really climb closer to 30 per game, why? Because in 2000, they were still trying to figure out where Glenn Rice fit in that offense, and he didn't ultimately. But 2000, Kobe was 1st team all defense, 2nd team all NBA. I mean, he was incredible. I loved him from 2000 to 2002. And then the Colorado thing would happen. I'm sort of like, man, maybe this guy is a POS. And then don't forget about this. Even though I give him leeway after Shaq was traded for him to have that 1 year where he scored, like 35 a game, it was the equivalent of the 3 years that Jordan played under Doug Collins, right? He's not going to win championships until they bring in Phil Jackson and they use the triangle and they really teach Jordan how to trust his teammates. But it was fun watching Jordan, score 37 a game in 1987 and score 35 again in 88 and win the Defensive Player of the Year award and the All-Star Game MVP. Kobe had that similar year when he averaged 35 a game in like 2006. And even though he was heroic in that playoff game against the Suns when he stole the ball and hit that crazy running layup and then hit the jumper to win it and did the fist, the similar celebration that Michael did after game 1 of the 97 finals in Chicago against the Jazz when he hit that jump shot over Byron Russell. No, not the jump shot he hit in game 6 of 98, the last shot, the one that he did the year before that people forget about. The game was tied, so it wasn't like they were down, but still, it's still an awesome buzzer beater. Then Kobe had his Scottie Pippen moment. What do I mean by that? Remember Scottie Pippen had the famous migraine in game 7 against the Pistons in 1990 that he gets blamed for a lot. Scottie also asked out of that playoff game, game 3 against the Knicks in 94 without Jordan. Kukoc hits that, bank shot to miraculously win it, but everyone's pissed at Pippen. Kobe had that moment in what was it, game 7 against the Suns when the pressure was on him to trust his teammates more. So instead of doing that, he just deferred, and they got blown out. And I'm like, he's not the real. But he had to grow through that, okay? So no, I was not a Kobe guy. I was a Shaq guy. I've always loved Shaq. I could see through Shaq, though. I could see, to some degree, the what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily selfishness. I mean, he's Shaq. He's the big man. Get him the damn ball. I just mean insecurity. Shaq could not share the spotlight with Penny. He could not share the spotlight with Kobe. Now, luckily, he humbled himself enough to do that with D Wade, and he got an additional ring in 06, and he earned it. Also, Shaq got jobbed in the 2005 MVP voting. No. Steve Nash is not getting back-to-back MVP. No. Yes, D'Antoni revolutionized. That's the beginning year of when all this changed to where we are with the NBA now. 7 seconds or less offense. And Nash resurrected his career. Remember, Cuban got rid of Nash from the Mavericks because of the back injury. They thought he was never going to be, a true superstar. I'll give Nash credit, but he's not the back-to-back MVP. Get the frick out of here. LeBron James got robbed. Young LeBron, so did Shaq in that regard. But I'm a Shaq guy even with those faults. Do I believe, like my colleague at the Waterbury Republican in the early 2000s, Scott Griffin, who used to always say, if Shaq didn't care about music and rapping, it could be Wilt Chamberlain, but because of that, he'll never achieve what he's supposed to. Now, that's harsh because Shaq's still an all-time great with 4 rings, but he did only win 1 MVP. Could he have won more if he was a little bit more of a killer and dedicated? Probably. But no one's going to ever argue with who Shaq was from 00 to 02. That's the in my watching, no one's ever really been greater than Jordan for me watching, but that version of Shaq is just obscene how good he was. Before he put on the weight, and you're telling me he wasn't on PEDs in those years? Good Lord. Of course he was. Yes, he was. Of course. Don't sue me. Yes, he was. But remix, no, I'm a Shaq guy. Kobe, I reveled in Kobe losing the 08 finals to my Celtics. And now, mind you, also my kids were born premature and weren't supposed to live. And my son was in Boston Children's Hospital during the 08 finals. And I'm a Celtics fan. And I watched game 6 with Paul Pierce and them blowing out the Lakers. And I got my son in my arms and I pulled the cord out and the doctors and nurses came running in my celebration. So it means a lot to me, but I also dunked on Kobe in that because he couldn't get that done. Now he got the last laugh by winning in 09 and 10. Would the Celtics have won back-to-back in 09 if Garnett didn't get hurt? You're damn right they would have, because they were actually a better team that year. But my team couldn't get it done in game 7 in 2010. So credit to Kobe. Kobe, in the end, showed us what he was. When he got hurt that year late in his career and he forced himself back, that's who that man is. So I respect him. But I'm a Shaq guy at the end of the day, okay? Kobe's kind of a Jordan clone. He's the greatest Jordan clone of all time, and he's his own man in his own right, too. And I did always respect that when he married Vanessa against his parents' wishes. He was like, yo, Jelly Bean, we're not talking for a while because this is my life, and I'll do what I want. I respect that. I do respect that, okay? Enough of me rambling about Kobe. All right. 2004 in Colorado did happen, by the way. Thank you. Thank you very much. No Diddy, no helicopter jokes. Thank you. Okay. All right, Brody. Yeah, you're right. But all right. Okay. There are some interesting conspiracy theories about that, by the way. Don't have time. No one wants to hear me talk about it. Okay. All right. What comments did I miss during that rant? Anything good? I'm checking real quick. Okay. Yeah, remember we used to play 7 Minutes in Heaven in like 8th grade after we got bored of Spin the Bottle? It's a wild times in Connecticut in the late 80s, all right? Oh, good Lord, all right. Oh, wow, Tiddly. Is that information that was supposed to be public? Where are we going with this? Okay, thank you. Yeah, everybody knows Aunt Anita. Yeah, I think. I don't need a lawsuit, okay? You. All right. Alan W. Reggie Miller was Larry Bird too. Yeah, so I also hate Reggie Miller, but I respect him. The guy's a killer. But he's easy to hate. He's so wimpy and lame, and that celebration he had after, first of all, you could argue his greatest shot ever. And by the way, shout out to the 98 Pacers. Shout out to year one debut coach Larry Bird, who in an era where people had 9 assistants and you had to sit 2 rows of assistant coaches, he had 2. Old ass Dick Harder and Rick Carlisle, excuse me, I burped, who was, in a lot of ways, the X's and O's brains of that operation. But that 3-year run where Bird took the Pacers to conference finals, NBA finals. No, he didn't win it. They're never going to beat that version of Shaq and Kobe, but shout out to that. Reggie Miller's greatest shot in one of the greatest series of my lifetime was that 98 Bulls Pacers series. Was it game 4 at Market Square where he pushes off Jordan, hits the 3 to put him up, and then does the lamest celebration of all time where he runs back to the other free throw line and just keeps spinning in a circle. Okay, we'll give him that, right? But if you were of that time and you watched his 94 shellackings and 95 in the playoffs against the Knicks, one being the choke Spike Lee game in 94, and then 95 being what he scored 9 points in a second and a half. I mean, this guy's a freaking killer. He could talk trash too. And you know where I also respect Reggie a lot, and people don't remember this or talk about this enough. Old ass Reggie in 03, first round series against the Nets. Granted, before instant replay, and this wouldn't have counted, but he banks in basically a half-court shot to force OT. And then in OT, like 39-year-old Reggie Miller drives the lane and 2-hand dunks it. It's probably my favorite, holy shit, I can't believe he dunked it moment in NBA history. If it wasn't for, get ready for this, Pistons Spurs 2005. The Robert Horry game, was that game 4? Where Horry hits yet another 3 to force OT and does the same thing, drives the lane and hammers down that left-handed dunk. And you're like, who saw that coming? Great moments in NBA history. I think I'm talking to myself at this point, but shout out to Aunt Anita. Unbelievable. Okay. Danger Mouse. Bravo. Bryson BC Conspiracy B. Okay. Are we talking Kobe here? What are we talking about? All right. It happens. It happens. Serenity. All right. If you're going to talk for 3 hours in a circle, you're going to burp a lot. It's going to happen. All right. Let's hear from Sandine. Thank you for your support, David. Is that your real name? Or is that your pen name? Is that your prostitution name? Oh, sorry, Sandine. Hey, maybe Dave Sandine can join the show and clear his name for once. All right, shout out to JBR. They're like, yo, BC, can we have you on your show? I'm like, let's do it, brothers. Crickets. All right, crickets. Do you maintain a nice lawn, or is it a disaster like Luke Thomas's? I maintain a decent lawn. So I bought this house in 2017. Thank you, CBS Sports. I only bought it because ESPN hung me out to dry and hung that carrot for 4 years, telling me I was going to get that promotion and finally be paid as a talent and a writer. And never happened, but CBS made it happen. So at 39, your boy finally bought his first house. All right. And I would say for the first couple of years, I didn't try. I was ignorant. I didn't know better. And maybe it wasn't great for my neighbor who keeps a magnificent lawn to live next to me. Now, it's not Luke Thomas level. It's not like, oh my God, did somebody die in that house and no one's realized it? No, it's not that. I'd mow it all the time. The problem is I was mowing it too, kind of like my haircut. My wife thinks, you're 46. Why are you getting these tight fades? Babe, because I can look like I'm 34 again. Okay. At least I'm telling myself that. But, I used to cut that shit so like I was giving my lawn a haircut, but then you'd see all the yellow spots and it looked like crap. I think I've evolved over the years, eventually bought a riding mower, and I feel like I have a decent a decent lawn. Do I commit every year to putting out the seed like I'm supposed to? And look, there's been a lot of summers since I've owned this house where we didn't get a lot of rain, and my backyard can look like the Sahara. But if we're getting good rain and I'm trying a little bit, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing okay. I don't shine. I'm not the best of the neighborhood, but I'm not an eyesore. But I do have that old dirtbag town mentality that, like, if this is a year I'm not trying, deal with it, because I own this shit, all right? I don't know. I play games in my own mind. There you go. Luke, on the other hand, I'm sure there's just like, quicksand holes. There's a weight bench randomly. There's like a homeless family living under the tree. That's Luke's style. That's how he gets down. All right. Really, you got to understand, I do like a couple things good in life. Apparently, I podcast decently and broadcast pretty decently. And I feel like I really love my family and I'm encouraging and I'm there for them. But I can't cook or really clean or fix or, but I'll tell a good 90s joke once in a while. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's hear from Jay, my guy, Jay Allen. That's my guy. All right. Big boxing fan, this fella. What up, Beast? Yo, what up, Jay? Is this Jay Aaron? No, not at all. What's your favorite bad movie? Mine is Ghosts of Mars starring Ice Cube, Natasha Henstridge, Jason Statham, Pam Grier. So bad, it's great. I love bad movies. When you're growing up in the 80s with HBO and they're playing the same 7 movies every month over and over and over again, you fall in love with really bad movies like Morgan Stewart's Coming Home starring John Cryer. I don't know why. I love that freaking movie. Better Off Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time, although that's not a bad one. That's a hilarious one. And then in the 90s, we got the illegal cable box. So I'm getting all the movies. So when movies used to come out of the theater in the 90s, they'd go on pay-per-view first before they'd end up on Cinemax and HBO. So I'd watch, you could turn on the pay-per-view channel and there'd be the same movie playing back to back to back for like 12 hours. So you'd get to see them all. This might make people throw up. This might make you hate me because it's one of the worst sequels of all time. But what's a really bad movie that I loved as a kid and in an odd way still stand behind? Okay, it's really bad. Caddyshack 2. Caddyshack 2 is a wild ride, okay? Jackie Mason sometimes could hit it, right? Randy Quaid overacting his ass off. That weird mini golf thing. Yeah, it's a stupid, horrible movie. I kind of stand by that. All right. There's a lot of Steven Seagal movies, especially after his prime ended, that I still kind of stand behind, like Exit Wounds with DMX. Like there's, that one he did in Alcatraz, Seagal with that other rapper. I mean, there's some that, you just like, I come from an era where like really bad kickboxing movies, you just can't stop watching them over and over again. Like, oh, Billy Blanks is the janitor again. And he helps this down on his luck kid fight off the bullies like it's Karate Kid 1 all over. Yeah, I'm in on that. Okay. That's the kind of stuff that, that I do. What else do I like that's really bad? Dune 2. No, Dune 2 is a classic. How dare you people get on here and just besmirch Dune 2, okay? Thank you for that question, Jay. On Deadly Ground so On Deadly Ground is like, don't forget, Seagal is like lead actor, writer, director, producer. I think he made the food for craft services. Like that's like this weird art guy allowed to make his concept art album and it somehow was a major motion picture and is that dream sequence where there's like a bear and then there's like there's like a Native American lady doing the smoke signals. It's a fever dream. I don't put that on the list, but I F with that. Okay. I get down with Seagal. What do I have over here right here? Oh yeah. Out for Justice. I mean, that's an action classic. Cobra. Oh yeah. I mean, I love, what my favorite Arnold movie is? Now look, I love Predator like everybody else, but Raw Deal where Arnold is playing he infiltrates a mafia as a hitman. He's wearing pinstripe suits, like that opening scene where his wife's drunkenly making the cake. Come on, right? Damn. All right. That's me just talking. You asked me. All right. All right, what do you got? B-Vol 11. Things is my favorite. I think you're talking to somebody else, but thank you. Thank you for that, okay? Prime Brigitte, like long before Flavor Flav. Prime Brigitte. I mean, Stallone fell for that, okay? There was something going on there. There was. Go watch Rocky 4, okay? Twins is great. I don't think it's a bad movie. Twins is great. Twins rules. I love Twins. All right. Last Action Hero. Yes. I mean, Arnold's got a lot of them that are bad movies to like regular people, but to us, we're like, yo, I F with that. Okay. Do we consider St. Elmo's Fire a good or bad movie? I love St. Elmo's Fire. I don't know why. I just love that. What a Brat Pack movie. What a great movie. All right. Yeah, Flavor Flav went deep on that. he went hard in the paint. He did. Okay. That was aftermarket Brigitte. That was yeah. All right, let me get back, dude. We have a backlog here of super chats, so we don't end up here until 10 p.m. because I got an HQ hit pretty somewhere in the future here. Let's hit this. Here we go. All right, LNW, like Thor: Love and Thunder was my son loved it. It was a fine watch in the theater, so I stand by it. I didn't care if it was the worst of that series. I don't care about that series. I don't even care about that genre. I care about, did I have fun with my kid there? I did. Black Adam starring Dwayne Johnson? No, did not have fun. Hey, Dwayne, you owe me my money back for that, okay? And I hear, by the way, that this Mark Kerr smashing machine is a ridiculously horrible one with the Safdies too. I hope not. I really hope not. But maybe The Rock deserves that from putting those Project Rock shoes on the UFC people and making them not earn any money for it, right? All right, let's hear from Soup King 89. Shout out. 35, moving from Colorado to Connecticut. Hey, bring it, Soup King. Let's go, bro. Come into Connecticut's not just a stop on the highway between New York and Boston. Rogan was wrong. Rogan of Russia was wrong. All right. CT's got some perks, baby. Thoughts on Guilford? So, Guilford is one of the richer towns of this state. It's a great place to raise your kids. Is it probably a little snooty? Probably, but it's a shore town. So it's a Gold Coast shore town in Connecticut on the Long Island Sound. They're always good at sports like soccer and stuff like that. Yeah, you'll be more, if you can afford it, you'll love it. You'll love it. Now, I live in one of these towns nowadays too. It's not an armpit dirt hole town like I'm from. Do I belong here? No. But I'm also thankful for the peace and the harmony and the safety to some degree. All right. You got to make those sacrifices for your family. Okay. I mean, I'd love to raise my kids in factory town, but my wife's like, hell no. In fact, we're not allowed in that factory town anymore. I do love my town though. My original town, Naugatuck, Connecticut. Shout out. It's in me. It's not getting out of me. You can't get it out of me. I can't drink enough water to piss it out of me. Okay. It's in me. You guys are going to have to deal with that. Do you ever seen Repo Man? Yeah, that sounds familiar. Was that when the Estevez brothers were garbage men? Is that that movie? Let me see. Oh no, you're talking about 1984 sci-fi comedy Repo Man, starring, is that a Sean Penn vehicle? What do we got here? Repo Man is an 84 American science fiction black comedy. Oh, that does have Emilio Estevez. What am I thinking of where Emilio Estevez is a garbage man? So no, I have not seen 1984's Repo Man. Now look, has it been on HBO in 1985? And did I probably watch it? Yes, I can't remember it though at the moment. Sorry about that. Can't see it all. Can't see it all. You could certainly try, Smurfo. I'm trying, bro. All right. Rogue One was great. It was actually great. Prove me wrong. Seriously. Kevin G. Oh, hell no. Lynch is doing his best. Get out of here. Get out. I mean, it could be a cult classic. Oh, Ice Pirates is a bad movie that I love. It was like a satirical Star Wars movie with Robert, what's his name from, what's that guy's name? You know that guy? The guy from Spencer for Hire was the lead in that. You guys see Ice Pirates, or did I make that movie up? It's possible that I did. All right. Back to Maypac. It's Brody Moret. I know Rafe was heartbroken the night when Floyd schooled Pac-Man. He may have been. I mean, Rafe's not a Pacquiao super fan on the idea like, he's wearing Pacquiao underwear at night, but Rafe grew up with boxing. His story of him and his dad watching Bo Galata 1 is just epic. But I think he got into like hardcore degenerate levels of boxing when he went to the Philippines on his Fulbright scholarship from Northwestern, and when he, when the whole country would shut down for a Pacquiao fight and schools would like host, watchings in the school gym on a big screen. I think he got indoctrinated into that wave of excitement. So yeah, man, I can understand that. And also Pacquiao has huge calves, I think the first time I ever saw Rafe, by the way, was a YouTube video. First time I even heard of him was a YouTube video that said white boy speaks Tagalog to Pacquiao. And it was like Pacquiao was running by an LA court and Rafe was there playing hoops. And I think Ellie Seckback captured it. Shout out to Rafe. It's my guy right there. All right. You want to get to him, you got to go through me. All right. No Diddy at all. Hey, Alan, what do you got? My boy looks like an old Danny Boy House of Pain holding on to the night. I do look a little like that right now. I mean, does this Boston Scally cap that they sent me for free because they're great people, does it make me look older or younger? I'm hoping for the latter on that regard. All right. I mean, I'm aging gracefully. I just don't want to look like a POS, right? Alan, when does Just for Men? Dude, that's a great call. You know what's funny? We had a MK call today, and just like a update. We had to figure some things out, plan schedules because I'm going to be going on vacation at the end of next week. Luke is going to be vacationing. I think during that same stretch. One of those episodes we may have to pre-record, but that one of the conversations was like, is there any type of products we want to kind of go after and get sponsorships for? Yeah, man, Just for Men. Yeah, I do. I'm not just the hair club president, Al. I'm also a client, right? That's what it is. All right. There it is. All right. Chipping away. I can't see the new comments coming in because I'm chipping away at these super chat. All right. Maybe I can see a few of them. All right. Why does Dennis Rodman hate Larry Bird so much? Does he hate him today? Are you referencing the 1987 Pistons Celtics series, which, Bird steals the ball headline, right? The final stand for that great Celtics team where they could go into a big series, and the Pistons were coming on in 87. And that was the final stand for that Celtics team. And, even though that Celtics team would lose in 6 games to the Lakers in that 87 finals, by playing their starters just stupidly long minutes and Kevin McHale playing heroically through a broken foot that would really ruin the rest of his career in a slow decline. Don't forget that 1987 Kevin McHale, first team All-NBA. I bet you forgot that. 26 points per game. First team All-NBA. Him and Bird. Holy crap, right? You're talking about how Rodman told the media after that if Larry Bird was white, he'd be just another player. And unfortunately, Captain Isaiah Thomas, rather than, pushing back against that, backed up his young rookie and said, yeah, I agree with him. And then it became a thing. And then Larry and Isaiah had to actually do a press conference to defute any race relations tied to that. I don't know if Rodman hates him outside of that, but I don't know if you could really hate Larry Bird. Like Larry Bird hates Bill Laimbeer to this day because Laimbeer was a dirty POS who's, although a former All-Star, although Laimbeer led the league in rebounding in 86. Did you know that? And although a very good player on 2 championship teams and a good college player at Notre Dame, especially at the end of his career, he was just trying to injure you at all times. That's why in that 87 series, Robert Parrish delivered a 3-piece and didn't even get a technical foul because even the refs knew that Laimbeer had it coming. Bird hates him, and people should rightfully hate Laimbeer. I don't think you can hate Bird. Yeah, he talked shit, but he played the game the right way. Okay. Rodman always called Bird a bum. Today still. Well, that's unfortunate. That is. Look, I'm a Celtics fan. It's easy for me to say you can't hate Bird, but what are you going to hate out of him? He was humble and cocky at the same time. He was a winner. He played hurt. He was, him and Magic revolutionized this new era of passing and team play. All right. Thank you. That's me talking. Hey, Brantendo 64 is here. We love this guy from California, right? Used to work with Bisping. Has seen the thigh come out, I think. Do you see yourself staying in the U.S. forever? Like, where will you be when you are 65? I'm going to retire in that city where the streets are rivers. Oh, you talking about who's calling? You talking about in Italy there in Venice? Or are you talking about like, on heaven's golden shores? I don't know what you're talking about, but here's the deal. Yeah, I think I'll stay in the US the whole way. I mean, look, you never know. My wife loves Europe. We went to Paris and London last year. It was the dream. It was the dream. It was the dream trip of all time. And we want to go back. We want to go to Ireland. We want to go to Scotland. We want to go to it all. Switzerland, Italy. If you ask my wife right now, she'd probably say we're going to end up over there, but no, we're not. We're going to be in the US, and that's fine. unless shit goes to like shit. I mean, it might be trending that way, depending on your stance, maybe not. But yeah, I want to visit everywhere. I want to go to Japan so badly. I'm still mad at Ryan Garcia for pulling out of that Famio fight. And not only did I not get paid for hosting that press conference because it's a lawsuit, I didn't get to go to Tokyo and call that fight with Moro, Sean Porter, and Sean O'Malley. That would have been wild. But you can't win them all. You can only burp on your own podcast. That's all you can do. Thank you, Brantendo. Big fan. Thank you. All right. Follow that guy on Instagram. He's a nice guy. Okay. Marc-Andre Barriault went to Norway last year. Yeah, that's on my wife's list of hitters. Isn't that voted the happiest place on earth all the time? The people are the happiest. I hear people say that Venice stinks. I hear that a lot. But I haven't got LNW saying Venice is sinking as we speak. It will be gone by the time you retire. Wow. Wow. Okay, Al. All right. All right. Sandine, wasn't Larry a great he was the best trash talker. He was the best trash talker. I can see that rubbing people the wrong way. Yeah. I mean, he's a competitive trash talker though. Like, drop like the funny thing, like walking into the, 3-point contest locker room and go, who's playing for second, or telling Xavier McDaniel, with a second to go, I'm going to catch the ball right here and I'm going to shoot it right in your face and win the game. And that's what he did. I mean, I think they're coming out with another Dream Team 92 documentary, but this one focused on that famous scrimmage where the college all-stars with Jamal Mashburn, Bobby Hurley, Rodney Rogers, they came out that first day and beat the Dream Team. And then they talked too much trash. And Rodney Rogers said, not like 84, Larry. And then the next game, Larry came out and absolutely put on a clinic in Rodney Rogers' face and called every shot before he did it, even though he's so old he couldn't even sit down at that point. His back was so shot and he retired a couple weeks after the Olympics. But to me, he wasn't an evil trash talker. He didn't talk about people's families. He didn't, but the thing I always respect about Bird, who came from a tough upbringing in poor ass rural French Lick, Indiana, where he'd watch his dad turn his ankle and sprain it or break it, not go to the doctor, wrap it back up in his boot and head out to work. Not only did I always respect that Bird would hustle and he shortened his career by diving out of bounds all the time for balls, he'd fight at any point if somebody, crossed that line. And there's great moments of him, with the Lakers in the 84 finals, with, Lane Beer, with Dr. J, that famous fight where Barkley held his arms back. That's 80s NBA, man. That's the shit. That was the shit. All right. Okay. Let's go. Let's get through these. We got a lot. Let's hit them. JP in the house. Is that Jay Paquette? If that's you, you better identify your Nova Scotian self. All right. We love you over here. How does O'Malley saying he hasn't Jade the Peen once this year factor into the room? What? Did he? What? Does he? I don't. Thanks for your support, JP. I don't think that's JP. What? Okay, you sent that in like 45 minutes ago. I could have been part of another conversation. Sorry. All right, sorry. I'm trying here. All right. Alan, I'm more interested in sports stories than the sports themselves. I love ESPN's 30 for 30. So do I, brother. Reggie versus Spike Lee doc is peak. That was a very good doc. That was a very, very good doc. Dude, I've watched The Last Dance with Jordan like 7 times, man. It's so good. You could just pick it up anywhere too and just jump right in. It's so good, man. So good. There's nothing like great sports documentaries. Remember that Sports Century series that came out around 2000? Mark Shapiro, by the way, of TKO. That was his baby. That's what put him on the map. I thought that was some of the best documentizing storytelling in sort of short, digestible versions. Yeah. But no, really, my favorite thing is not only a great documentary, but when it becomes this epic series. It's why I'm so upset that Ezra Edelman's Prince doc is not getting greenlit on Netflix. You know that story, right? The Prince Trust doesn't want all the domestic violence stuff to get out and all that. Damn, that's Edelman's the guy who did that incredible OJ series doc that was, life-changing. Those are the best, man. Those are the best. All right. Alan knows. He knows. I do have a movie request. The Way, starring Martin Sheen and directed by his son Emilio Estevez. The Way. Let me see this. What year was this? That's a 2010 film, The Way. All right, Al. No, that's not a 2010 film. Yeah. The PG-13 adventure comedy, The Way, or are we talking about okay, The Way is a 2010 drama film produced and written by Emilio Estevez, who along with his father star in it. All right. Hey, Alan, here's the deal. I'm going to leave this page open so I remember. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to get back to you next week because you always such a great supporter of the show. I mean, you made me watch the Bitter Old Bastards of Baseball doc with Kurt Russell and his dad, and it was great. It was really great. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. And then we get the other side of Alan, Caddyshack 2 payment. Dude, Caddyshack 2, if you're like, 9 years old in 1987, and you hadn't seen the actual Caddyshack 1 until you were like old enough, it's pretty good. Weird. Good. All right. Sandine, what's the best way to reach out to set up a podcast guest appearance on JBR? Yeah, I think Twitter DM. Now, look, I do have, some good conversating relationships with a few of you on the old IG DM. The problem is that, I'm not, humble bragging here, but the problem is that I'm now in so many conversations, and every day I wake up to so many new messages that I inevitably don't see them, and then they get buried down, and I must have, 75 unread ones. So I'm sure people have reached out for business deals or something, or something important, that was like, hey, take my wife. And I just didn't see it. Right. So probably DM me on Twitter because I don't get many DMs on Twitter. That's probably your best way to get a hold of me in that way. I could also shoot you an email address once we connect. All right. There we go. Thank you. But let's do it. Let's hit this JBR thing. Let's find out what you're made of, Sandine. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you. Thank you, David. All right, let's take this thing home. It's time. DJ Serenity, now your burps BC are the equivalent of a wet fart. Yeah, pretty gross. Pretty gross. It's funny. It's like, if I burp in my house out loud, my wife thinks it's worse than breaking a window. But that's marriage for you. It's great. It's great. I recommend it. 10 out of 10. There we go. All right. J Ray BO2, my guy. I appreciate you, J Ray. Top 5 food substances you would be buried with. Great call. Hot dogs. There's a father-son connection in there. Okay. It's an American food. Is it a sandwich? I don't care. It's mine. All right. Pizza. I grew up in Connecticut. We've got insanely great pizza. We got pizza every night as a family, pizza is that. Lasagna. Oh, lasagna. Oh my God. Oh, great. Lasagna is great. It's great. And, I have this thing where I fall for restaurant lasagna, where if I go to like a really nice restaurant, like I went out on the last night of Showbox, the last Showbox show ever. We went out to this really nice restaurant in San Antonio. And it happened to be where executive producer of Showtime Championship Boxing, David Dinkins Jr. was there. And that man has eaten a quality steak before at a nice restaurant. And, we were all looking at the steak menu, and we're all, cause we're on the company card. It's a going away present party. And they go, we have a special tonight, Wagyu lasagna. And I'm like, oh my God. And they made fun of me when I ordered it. Guess who had the last laugh? This guy. So good. Meatloaf. So I have a soft spot for the great comfort food known as meatloaf, a spot so soft that, again, if I'm at a really nice restaurant and they put meatloaf on the menu, and it's not going to be like meatloaf at your diner or your grandma's house, although the grandma meatloaf can rule. It's going to be, I got to try it. I'm going to have to try it. And finally, although she's not living anymore, my Mima, right? My grandmother, she made a spaghetti with homemade meat sauce that was it's the greatest thing that ever happened to my youth. And when I finally became older and went there one time in Florida before she passed with my wife, and my wife's like, Bryce says his favorite, meal is your famous spaghetti, and I'm like, yeah, Mima, will you make it? She's like, yeah, I'll make it. And she's really old, and my wife was watching, and I always thought it was like all homemade and it was like crazy ingredients and varieties. Turns out she'd go to like at the Walmart, put spaghetti in generic sauce, but she would put 4 sticks of butter in it. That turned out to be the secret. That was like seeing the little man in the vase behind the curtain. It was still amazing and gnarly and great. No one, no one makes spaghetti like me, Ma. That's what they're burying me with. Thank you. I'm showing you sides of myself that really don't deserve to go public, but thank you. All right. This is Michael Beal. Hey, thank you. I don't know what yeah, I know Long Island Luke does the sticker thing. He tells me I need to do memberships and stickers. I really don't know how to do this YouTube thing. I got Mikey. He's my guy, right? We're figuring it out together. Some weeks I go for it. Some weeks we're just rolling out the balls and we're rambling. But thank you very much for that. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. This is Portuguese Herzog, who's coming on today, right? This guy's making a move, making a run. Not J and the P in is basically steroids, they say. Oh, wait, what? Are you trying to say that O'Malley's trying to say that he's wasn't on steroids or he'll be on steroids this time? I don't know what you guys are saying. I can't comment on that. I appreciate your support though. Okay. All right. A hot dog super chat would be fantastic. We can all share stories about, sitting in the 7-Eleven grass with our dad and really connecting. I mean, that's really what it's all about. Sandine's aunt, she makes incredible homemade spaghetti. Does she use the Walmart brand with the 4 sticks of butter? I want to find out. Let's go to your aunt's house. Is that the aunt that slept with Allen Iverson, or is this a different thread that I'm crossing swords into? We talking Meatloaf? Yeah, Meatloaf had them ham hocks in Fight Club. Wow. First time, I don't know if I could say that story out loud. What was in my body the first time I saw Fight Club, but what a night! I remember when the movie ended, I thought it was real and I was in it. Like I went home and thought I was. Yeah, it was one of them nights. Right, one of them nights. Shout out to Bevaw's late mom's cabbage pie. Hey, like, let's whether it's a mom, an aunt, a grandma, or whatever, like. There's just something about that, right? The way they did it. It just worked. My grandma would make cinnamon toast. I don't know. I've tried to recreate that. It tastes like shit. When she made it, it was like life-changing, right? All right. Let's close this out. Let's close this out in a big way. Lazy bed. When you bring yeah. So I haven't done, you're right. I came out with a lot of ambition. Some things stuck. Some things didn't. I got busy. I got frustrated. Some things that I put a lot of effort in didn't go anywhere. I would say that early on, I was, much more focused on traffic, money, how do we build this? And now it's just at the point where I just love doing this. I love doing Inside the Box with Rafe, connecting with my best friend in the box again. I love, putting fighter interviews on here, even though those are continuing to tank at a level that I didn't expect, even though sometimes I get big names. It's an experiment, but yes, I'd like to get back into bringing on my friends in the business, talking about fun stuff, getting into their lives, sitting some people down. I think what happened is I got really ambitious. I reached out to some big names for some 20 Qs. They didn't get back to me. I sort of, whatever. I'm not going to pull a Luke and hold it against you, Anna, forever, but I'll get over it. Thank you. Let's wake BC up a little bit. You're right. You're right about that. All right. Oh yeah, we hit that steroid question. Thank you for laying the pee in on him. All right. Did you say that that Mikey's here? I didn't see him. Big Mikey fan though. Great guy. All right. Have met him. Have met his family. Love that guy. All right. Alan W. Abstaining from sexy during training, BC. Busting up bar. Oh, that's what you're saying. So he's identifying that women make the knees weak, or like make the legs weak. And you're saying that for this rematch with Merab, it's not about steroids or needles. You're saying for the rematch with Merab that he's not going to sleep out of marriage because he has an understanding with his wife like he usually does. Got it. Okay. Maybe that will change him. I know. Look, seriously, if he was injured the first time and just thought, hey, I'll go with it and I'll probably knock Merab out. That's what these fighters are doing, man. And I know it's like that across combat sports. They're always hurt to some degree, but there's a lot more pressure, it seems, on these UFC guys to stay in good grace with the company, to not get sent to the back of the line, to not, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of pressure on them to get paid, to pay for that training camp that they did. There's a lot of pressure on them. I get it. So do I expect a better version of O'Malley? Yeah. So maybe this fight will end up being awesome, and I'll eat my words and Newark will rule. I hope Kayla can make 135 healthy wise. I hope this isn't killing her, right? I mean, I really look at her as one of the good stories in this game. It seems like she cares, tries hard, adopting her kids, her sister's kids. Like, I like that story. I think she's, whatever. All right. We hit that one. Thank you, Jay. And Alan, thank you. Oh yeah. All right. We're getting to the bottom of this. We can almost turn this thing off here. Alan W. With what metrics are we? Oh yeah, we hit sugar. Oh, with what metrics are we using to proclaim that Sugar Sean? And thank you, Alan, for your continued support. That Sugar is a star because he is. I hear you. Is he selling pay-per-view? But no, but I don't think anyone's moving pay-per-view numbers because it's the content filling era. I don't think UFC is incentivized to overly promote pay-per-views, to do things like extra press conferences like they used to do all the time, to go on press tours, to bring pay to send their fighters to, meet big car wash media day. They don't do that anymore. They really don't. So that matters in that. But I think if you take into account he doesn't pull with any financial metrics. I mean, I'm not a great financial guy. You might be right, but it seems like he pulls with social media metrics, and it seems like he pulls with the cachet that people look at him, that he's a star. My dad has talked to me about 2 fighters in the last decade in the UFC. Mind you, my dad and I had a conversation about 8 years ago where he still thought MMA was bare knuckle and no rules. And I'm like, whoa, Dad, we're way past that. The 2 fighters he's asked me about, one fighter he asked me about one time, and that's Dakota Ditcheva. And I'm like, yo, Dad, where are we going with this? But he's like, no, I saw some YouTube videos. She looks great. Yeah. The other one is he asks me all the damn time about Sugar Sean O'Malley, because he's like, yeah, the guy that looks like Noel Redding from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, the Sugar Show guy. I'm like, wow, Dad, okay, you're a 69-year-old motorcycle rider. That's wild to me, but that's awesome, So there is a metric. The metric is called my father, Alan. So thank you very much. Thank you for your support. All right, final super chat here, and you guys have been grand. You guys have been fantastic. All right, 3 hours on the BCX. Who would have thought? Who would have thought I had that stamina? Right? I mean, I like to think I'm the Marab gas tank of live chatting. Although that guy in the Senate just put me to shame, right? Top 5 most anticipated fights that are booked at the moment. Are you talking MMA or boxing or both? Let's do it. Okay. Damn, I want Ilya versus Islam, right? Damn, we deserve Jones versus Aspinall, don't we? All right. Top 5 that are booked right now. I'm going to do all of combat sports because I don't even know if I can give you 5 in MMA that I'm really excited about, because I don't think there is a lot. I really like Garry versus Pratish. Is it my most anticipated right now? No, but it's one of them. That's one. Thank you very much. All right. Let me call up this UFC schedule to make sure I don't make a stupid decision here. Patty versus Michael Chandler, I'm really into. Let's find out if Patty's for real. Either way, it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be incredible. I got to see it. Gian Silva, Bryce Mitchell, no, not on that level. Yair versus Pitbull, yes. Hell yes. Okay, so that's 3. Let me go Rolly versus Ryan Garcia, and I don't care what you think about that. I got to see that thing. It's weird, and I love it, and I've got to see it. We're talking about only fights that are booked. So those are 4. My number 5, it could be Teofimo versus Barbosa, but I'm sure we can do better than that. All right, I'll say it. RDR versus Bo Nickel is weird and interesting and necessary. So those are my 5. How are you going to deal with that? Those are my 5. I could have put Shevchenko Firo, but I'm not. Bilal JDM, nah, brother. Number 6, Blanchfield Barber. Am I the only one that likes that fight a lot? Am I the only one that thinks there's a couple women's MMA fights that'll still ring the bell? All right. By the way, Josh Emmett, Lerone Murphy, I like a lot this weekend. Okay. Sure. I hope you do too. Man, what a great live chat. I mean, it was a debacle. My poster fell apart. Reggie was a mess. Yeah, I didn't understand some of your jokes about, yeah, there we go. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you. All right. Thank you. That's a hell of a matchup right there. Unfortunately, that is a hell of a matchup right there. Connor versus the people of Ireland. Yes. Rolly has grown on me. This guy's legit. Dude, I have this debate all the time at PBC fights with Mauro Ranallo, with Abner Maris, with everybody. Well, Abner likes Rolly, but it's not that people hate Rolly. They're just like, no, he's weird and he's annoying. He's not that good. I'm like, no, he's a dry humor comedic genius. You better recognize what that guy's all about. Okay. Campbell's Rambles today. Brian Campbell's Cream of, yeah, there we go. Okay. Thank you, DJ Serenity. Thank you. No more questions, please. Thank you to the people. All right. Thank you. I'll be back here next week, 4 p.m. Eastern. And guess what? So will 2 Changs. I see what I love about you guys is I don't even know your government names. I probably shouldn't know that. I don't know that guy as South Oregon Bird 2 Changs. I don't know if he's a loan shark or his name is Adam. I don't know anything about him. By the way, Peter Byers, thank you for your contribution. Shout out to you, brother. Okay. Shout out to you, your family. I hope you guys are doing well. I'd like you to put your mental health first and take care of yourself. It's not selfish to do that. You have roles in your life where you need to deliver. If you're a father, if you're a husband, if you're a son, if you're an employee, if you're a human on this earth, you deserve to be happy and you deserve to be in a safe place mentally. So take care of that. That means a lot to me. Two Chengs is a legend, Sandine. Okay. Thank you very much. Rolly is the Bob Newhart of boxing now. Yeah, I think he might be, Alan. That's a great, I know you're clowning me, but that's a great. Okay. I'm going to be on Just Bleed Radio in the future with Lazy Bed and that British guy that I love, Danger, and the other guy that buys, that doesn't buy anything. Right. Take care of yourselves out there. Check us out, MK 11 a.m. If you missed the Rafe Inside the Box, a lot of you guys did. Do you just hate boxing or hate me and Rafe? What is it? Check that out. It was yesterday. It's on the BCX. I'm gonna call somebody up and get content tomorrow. You're gonna see it. The BC will be back tomorrow with a piece of content. Let's make this channel great again. Let's make America great again. Vote for who you want to. Listen to what you want to. But if you haven't put on One More Red Nightmare by King Crimson off the album Red, then what are you doing with your life? And you asked me the other day about my favorite guilty pleasure songs. I heard that one again on the radio. Do you not love Magnet and Steel by Walter Egan? Am I the only one? I mean, what a song, you know what I'm saying? What a damn song. It's so good. You can't stop. It's so good, right? You guys are awesome. I'm going to read this Mark Ray Monday book and get back to you. And we're going to put this little man on my show too. Okay. He may be small, but he's doing big things. All right. For all the people that work on this show, including Mikey and all you great people, take care of yourselves. We're going to close with probably the greatest intro outro in the history of podcasts. Again, shout out Average Joe, Mikey, shout out Anthony Weller of Head Change on the guitar, his drummer, Jacob. What a time to be alive. This is BC. We're out of here. It's a great, you got reason to be happy. You're alive. You're going to wake up tomorrow. Let's live it. Let's love it. Thank you.